The fact that the first thing that comes into my head is like this. I'm sharing dick water. I don't care the fact that you're naked, but I'm touching the same water your penis just swam through. Like,
so wait,
I don't know why that bothers me.
Yeah, you're indirectly. You know how they have indirect kisses in anime? Your penises are indirectly kissing. Hello, everyone, and welcome to, I heard that, episode 11 of the Thought Patrol podcast. We are joined by, we got Caitlyn.
Hey, guys.
We got Antony.
Hey, it's Antony.
Oh.
Shut up.
And we got Shawn over Discord as well, as always.
As always.
All right. And he has come to join us. We are back again doing the thing that we always do.
Same old.
Same old. And yeah, we got quite a packed episode for all you today. We're doing quite a bit. And we're going to go ahead and get right into it after we do some introductions. How's everyone's week been going? Any movies we've seen? Any games that we've been playing? Anything we want to talk about that's interesting? What's going on with you guys?
I just picked up the mobile game Mini DayZ. So if any of you guys remember DayZ on the PC, it's just that but pixelated and just put on the mobile. But that's about it. There was a movie that I saw on Netflix. I'm trying to remember what it was. No, not Netflix. If you guys heard of Oat Studio?
No.
None of you have heard of that studio?
No.
They make like really good shorts, and they're just so good that it makes you upset when you finish them because they're only like 25 minutes tops, and they're so good that you want more. But that's it. That's all they have. But if you get a chance, check Oats Studio. They have a bunch of like little like trailers for like different projects they're trying to do on YouTube, and they're just amazing. They just came out with one called Zygote a few days ago.
I've seen that.
You seen it?
I have.
Wait, am I right about it coming out like a couple days ago? I might be wrong about that.
No, I think it's older than that. I don't think it's super old, but I think it's older than that because I've seen a bunch of stuff that they put up on YouTube.
Okay, so it came out recently, but it's really good. So if you guys have a chance, check out Oats Studio. Like oatmeal, but just not without the meal.
Yeah, I think they got it, Antony. Yeah. They're good.
Oats.
We're covered. That
was my week.
All right, Antony's week was oats. I said eat.
Because you heard oats.
Yeah, Antony's week was oats. How about you, Keon? What have you been doing?
My week was pretty awesome. I bought a car today.
Talk into the microphone.
I bought a car today.
Son of a bitch.
And I signed up for college. And
just
I
growing
got a
up.
Driver's license.
Just growing up.
Wait, you don't have a driver's license?
I got one.
Oh, okay. I was like, you kind of need that to drive.
No shit, Sherlock. So yeah, I've had a pretty exciting week for once in my life.
Damn.
Here's a tip, Keon, right? When you're talking to the microphone, just look at the microphone like it's your best friend.
Sitting all over
we've
here.
learned as proper etiquette to look at the person that you're talking to.
But
when we're sitting next to each other, it's really, really hard to talk into the mic. Well, no, we're just programmed to look at the person we're talking to.
Look at
psychology.
Right. That's right.
He's sitting to the left of the microphone.
I think you guys should keep doing it just to drive Kyle bananas.
That's what I like to do.
I think you should intentionally do it, and then every time he goes to talk, say penis.
No, we don't want to stress Kyle out like that because it's gonna drive him nuts the whole entire podcast.
Hit us.
If we're talking like this far away from the mic, it just doesn't sound that good. So we're not gonna do that to you, Kyle. We're gonna try our best.
Oh god, it'd be hilarious. So I love you, Kyle, but you're easy to troll, man.
It's true. It's so true.
Just sitting here blinking my eyes. All right. Yeah, I'm good. I've been playing.
Nobody asked.
Actually, Shawn got everyone in the friends group recently into Final Fantasy, so we're all playing the MMO. Well, not the host. Well, me and Shawn are playing the MMO. The other hosts aren't, not currently, but it's really cool. It's a well-made game. You could see that. You could see that they flaunt their subscription fee because The world design's good, music's good. It's Final Fantasy. It's fun. I like it. I like it a lot. At first, I was a little bit wary about paying for a subscription fee, but I decided to just say fuck it and do it anyway, and I did it, and I've been enjoying it ever since. Right now, I'm a thaumaturge, which is like a baby black mage, and I control like fire and ice, and I like nuke things from a distance, so it's pretty cool. I like the way the game's, like I said, I like the way the game's designed. The models are the resolution's pretty high on the models. It looks like a pretty game for being a PC port to a PS4. They did a good job. They make the game very controller friendly too as well, although it is much better to play it with a mouse and keyboard, which you can do on the PS4. It's still nice that they didn't completely abandon the controller users, that it's not impossible to play with a controller. It's very well designed. So it's cool. We've all been just throwing a shitload of time at that game. Just a shitload of time.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh. I don't think anyone else can hear it.
With my busy social schedule, it's been hard, but I've made it happen.
Yeah, and we haven't done anything together yet because we've all just been kind of questing on our own, that weird awkward stage early on in an MMO. So we're trying to get higher up so we could maybe do dungeons together and stuff. It's pretty. Sure,
I keep popping in to help you guys every so often and spend most of my time throwing rocks and healing.
Yeah, it's we have Shawn. That's what's your class, Shawn?
Conjurer,
conjurer,
what's the word I'm looking for?
A conjurer.
It's not. I don't want to say. Damn it! There's a fucking term. Not a
cleric.
Fetal.
Oh, fetal.
Yeah. Oh no, they're more like druids, but there's an actual term that you use in something like this where it makes the caterpillar butterfly comparison in one word. And
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, but the word is escaping me right now.
Yeah, and I hate that because I'm known for my vocabulary. But the moment I'm like, I want this word, it just disappears and comes back. It's like, fuck off. So I'll figure it out later, but I don't know. Yeah, essentially he's a baby white mage. He's got a few attack spells though, but they're all nature spells, so they're the equivalent of a druid. You get a staff or a rod, and it's weird because you carry a shield with your rod.
Yeah, so I don't know why all the mages get a shield that they get to carry offhand, which is weird.
If you're using a one-handed, like a rod, which sometimes you'd call them wands, but Final Fantasy likes to make cock jokes, so it's a rod.
Yeah. We got Antony on the research for that word, Shawn. He's gonna find it for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
It's driving me fucking crazy because I know the fucking word, but I don't know it right now. But it's
I don't know. It's like it makes the comparison of a caterpillar to butterfly in one word.
Something like that. Yeah, I want to say fetal.
Metamorphosis
is the something, but that's not it.
Is it?
No,
so it's like
there's egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Those are the stages.
Larval works. It's like the larval version, but that's not what I'm going for. There's something else.
Wait, what do you mean?
He doesn't remember.
Larval's close enough. There's a synonym for larval that I'm looking for, but it's the larval form of the white mage. There's two there's two healers you can start with. This is one of them. This one just happens to have a little bit more tankiness than the other.
Chrysalis?
That's also very close, but no.
I'm just looking up synonyms for larva now.
He's on
so
to it.
I'm gonna go through the
We're gonna
list.
machine gun him real quick.
Oh wait,
the list is like 3.
Maggot?
No.
We're going. That's not the right direction to go with that at all.
Oh my God, Antony. Okay.
Just continue. I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you.
He'll figure it out. All right. So, yeah, we're all enjoying it. It's fun. Like it a lot. We got Perry in it as well. I think are you playing it right now, Shawn? Is that what I hear in the background?
Is it Nymph?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
I am playing it, but I have the music turned off, so all you every now and then you might hear a footstep. But I mean, this mic would have to be godly to pick up how
I
quiet
don't know. I'm
this
hearing
is.
I'm hearing noise as always. But then again, I think it'd be weird if we didn't hear you hot micing the whole podcast. We might confuse people if they didn't because they like recognize you as the man that hot mics. So it'd be kind of odd if they didn't get that. It just wouldn't fit the experience. So that was my dose of aggressive sarcasm for the day. But yeah, so everyone's doing good. How are you doing? So yeah, we talked about the gaming. You doing anything, Shawn? Any movies you seen?
I am. I have the ultimate in nerdery to do tonight. I got invited to a wedding in Final Fantasy at 11. So I've got to walk all the way to the fucking. There's a
For a second
cathedral where
there, I
characters
thought
get
you were
married.
talking about real life.
Yeah, I thought you were being legit.
No, dude, you can buy wedding packages in this fucking game. There's 3 different ones. Cheaper, mid-range, and expensive, and you get more gear and shit with it. And the person you marry, you get bonuses when you're together, so on and so forth. Rings and outfits and all kinds of shit.
So when are you and
But,
Kyle getting married, Shawn?
We can.
I don't think
Shawn's in.
I save myself for you, but I'm gonna have to marry Kyle because you're not playing.
I didn't think
Yeah,
Shawn.
I'm
Kyle is even sexier sometimes. I really like his
Wow.
dimples.
Well, my
Yeah.
character, I'd bang my character. That's my
Your
goal.
character's cute as fuck.
Me too.
Auntie's seen her. When I play an RPG, I'm not all about that inserting yourself into character bullshit. Fuck that. I'm gonna make a character that
I want to look at.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about. And that might
The
get
whole
that
like
might,
I really
that
want to
might-
bang myself part makes me a little awkward, so I kind of stick with inserting myself in the fucking character.
well, if you don't insert yourself into the character, you're not banging yourself.
Well,
You're
that's a piece of
just
cheese.
watching the life of someone
Now
else.
you
take
literally
place.
want to insert yourself into the character.
That was pretty
But
good.
yeah, anyway, I've been trying to go see Spider-Man, and every time I want to go see it, we end up podcasting. So
We
not much I can
podcast
do
one
about
day
that.
a week. How the fuck did that happen?
Normally I
Because
try
the
and go on
day-
other nights, but it just so happens that the only evenings I've had free are those times. So Spider-Man isn't happening yet. I still haven't seen Wonder Woman, and
Spiegelman.
there's another one out right now that I want to see. I think.
Has anyone seen Spider-Man?
No.
Anyone?
I almost got to
I
see it,
haven't.
but
I've heard it was
I got
good.
busy.
I heard
Some
I,
peop-
I heard a lot of complaints about the character that's supposed to be Mary Jane.
That's supposed to be Mary Jane.
I think her name is like actually Michelle. It's not actually like Mary Jane, but it's like
Wait, so it's not
No,
Gwen
they're gonna
Stacy,
bring
it's
Mary
not
Jane in. This
Mary
girl's
Jane.
just a filler.
yeah,
Because
she's like a filler.
hopefully they do Gwen Stacy and then Mary Jane, but they've changed so much for this one. It's so far removed from Spider-Man. Like they got a good chunk right with the first series, and they got a few things. They got more basically just Gwen Stacy right with the second series. The rest of it was garbage. Garfield tried. Don't get me wrong. I liked his effort, but it wasn't a good movie series. They were really weak. And the first ones were good, except for that fucking third mess and that weird thing about killing off villains.
You guys aren't close.
I really like Tobey Maguire's part. I think Tobey really nailed Peter. I think he nailed the humanity of it.
Till 3
Peter's
came around.
Yeah, 3 was that was Sony's fault. That wasn't really anybody. Sony
What?
came in and fucked the whole thing up.
Tobey Maguire's their initial trilogy that we saw in like early
Yeah.
2000s.
I loved him. He was a good Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was the best one, and he's how I always.
Thank you.
But you really got into the humanity of the character with Toby, and they kind of rushed it with the other one, and then this one you're skipping it entirely because they fucked it up. You know,
The second
so
one
many
felt
times.
like an emo Spider-Man.
That was the third one.
Third one.
Yeah, third one was.
They were
Venom.
trying to do the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
Venom thing, but they fucked it up so badly.
Yeah, it was.
And Sony fucked the movie up so bad that Sam Raimi said, "Fuck you, I'm not going to do this again." And he almost came back for 4, and he's like, "Yeah, no, fuck you, Sony."
Yeah,
And that was pretty much that. But I want to see this one because I like Tom Holland a lot, and he's insanely talented and fit, and I hate him for almost every jealous reason I can think of. But I really like Michael Keaton, and I want to see Michael Keaton's Vulture. That's
Yeah, I've heard-
my driving reason to go, because Michael
Yeah.
Keaton is one of the most dynamic character actors ever. I want to see what he does with a villain's role, because he's only ever played a villain like once before.
I've heard he did an
And that
excellent job in the movie. Like I've heard everyone, all the
probably-
praise I've heard was for
It's for
Michael
him.
Keaton and his Vulture. So I'm excited to see that too. I want to see how well they do that. I want to see. This is I've heard for this that this is like spring forwarding us into the new like not I don't want to say arc, but like the section of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we'll see after Infinity War, since Iron Man's going away and some other people are going away. They might. I've also heard that they might bring back Fantastic Four, but Marvel made
They're
Fantastic
planning on
Four.
it, but I don't think it's going to be for probably
Yeah, it's
10
not-
years.
Yeah,
man.
it will be a while. But this is like kind of this. This is like a new section of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we're getting. So I'm excited for
They're
Infinity
going to start
War.
making.
I'm excited for it, too.
It's getting farther and farther from the roots of the comic books while still taking strong inspiration. I watched. I tore the trailer apart and I saw these Jack Kirby throwbacks and all these kind of Easter eggs, and they've kind of smashed Thor into Planet Hulk. So they got a tiny piece of Planet Hulk worked in there. It's getting, again, Marvel has found a way to completely separate themselves from the book storylines while still drawing elements of storylines or terminology from storylines, but they're still making something that's a good 75% new. Switching out huge elements to fit the film verse and the lack of characters and the basically bringing in whatever they want. So, I mean, they've got Adam Warlock coming in. They have Strange there now. I think Ragnarok is his last independent movie, but he might show up for a few more flicks. We still have Falcon. We just got Ant-Man. Spider-Man just joined, so they're going to be bringing in Black Panther's got his movie next year, which I am fucking psyched for because that's Marvel's Batman.
Me too.
Hell yeah, we should go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Totally fucking psyched.
Speaking of going to go see movies together, the next couple of months they're having like a Ghibli film event near us.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the end of this month, they're doing Kiki's Delivery Service, and next month, I think, is Castle in the Sky. So we're just going to go and at the end of every month, watch all these Ghibli movies in the theaters. It's going to be so fucking
exciting.
awesome. I'm excited for Howl's Moving Castle.
Howl's Moving Castle
seen
is amazing.
I haven't seen like half of them.
Kiki's Delivery Service, I loved it.
any
That's
of
the
the
first
newer
one I've
ones.
ever seen.
I'm excited for Nausicaä, too, of the Valley of the Winds. It's going to
How
be
about
awesome.
Spirited Away? That's gonna
Spirited
be
Away is
so
going to be so lit in
awesome.
the theater.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm hype as shit. It's going to be awesome. The only thing is it's during the week. So,
Well, it's Monday night for subtitled.
I could do Monday nights.
yeah, so
too.
that's for Kiki's, right? That's on the 24th.
I never seen Kiki's subtitled, so
We're going to watch them all
They're all
subtitled.
subtitled.
Well, they have
all of them or
They have them in English, but we're gonna watch them subtitled.
They're all subtitled.
oh, okay.
Jesus.
Bark, bark.
Borth.
Bork.
Okay, no, here's the sad part. I have to software mute.
Shawn, do you not know how to press the quiet yourself
I'm
button?
working on it.
Holy shit.
He did it.
Oh, man. I wonder how loud that will be. I'll have to make sure I check that. All right. So, yeah. We're excited. It's going to be cool. We're going to try and all go see it together. I'm going to go see as many as I can because my schedule allows it, and Caitlyn's not doing anything until
I find it
August. And then even that.
You signed up for the fall session?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's in,
Oh, okay.
She's in the fall. So everyone's kind of moving forward. It's exciting. Taking on new responsibilities. Depression setting in.
Wanting to kill myself.
Yeah.
Every day. Jump out the window, Just how it goes.
New methods always present themselves.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about creative ways, like drinking bleach that's flavored.
Okay, why are you looking at the computer?
I don't know.
Look into the microphone, woman.
I like to drink bleach that's blueberry flavored.
Blueberry. Ooh.
Yeah, I only find it super special. So
Mix it with Sprite or something.
yeah,
That's
it's like a little drink. Yeah,
fair. A nice
slowly
little
killing myself,
bleach cocktail.
but I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'm glad that everyone's doing good. I'm glad that you're all able to join me tonight. And again, we have a big episode for you guys listening in. And thank you for tuning in with us. We're going to go over some clerical shit real quick. Like always, just keep you guys updated. As always, we have our Discord. It will be in the description below if you have any questions you want to ask the host, if you want to converse with us, if you want to even schedule a game night. I'm on pretty often. Not all the hosts are always available, but yeah, we're going to have all of our... Oh, Caitlyn, I need to add your PlayStation name into the description so people can add you.
Guys, you're going to love my PlayStation
Miss
name.
Dong Feast 420.
Yeah.
That is legit, completely legit. If anyone wants to add me, my PSN is DongFeast420. Just
You're
add
fucking
me.
lying.
I swear to
so
God.
serious. I will send a screenshot into the
It will
the
be in the
Discord.
description. It
I
will
am
be in the description.
so serious.
Okay.
I'm 100% serious.
No,
and you
no.
know who did it? It was Kyle.
I was trying. Now listen, I made a new account and I thought I was signed into this new account, right? Remember, Antony? I think you were there. And I named it Charlie something was its real name. And I was trying to save the name Dong Feast because that's a good name and I didn't want to lose it and have to put X's in it or something like that. So I got to save this name. But I didn't know I was signed into her account because she didn't have she wasn't a PlayStation member, like a gold member yet, because you could do it for free. You don't have to pay for it, or not gold, but she wasn't connected to the PlayStation Network. So I connected her account to the network and made her display name Dong Feast 420. Not thinking about it.
I wouldn't have it any other way. So,
But the name has been saved. It has been yeah. If you want to add Caitlyn or send her.
no.
We have there's like bots in the PlayStation thing, and they send messages. It's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm a 23-year-old female. Blah blah blah.
No
blah.
way.
Yeah, straight up.
I
straight
really
up.
got one.
And
like
she
that.
she got one, and she replied. Only thing she replied with was stickers, the PlayStation stickers. So I don't know if it's an actual person or a bot, but they're just like the bot's either confused or the person's hating their life. So it just gets
It's fun
Either
playing
or.
with bots, though.
Yeah,
yeah.
it is.
So where was I? Oh yeah, so that's our Discord. If you want to come hang out with the hosts, again, schedule a game night or whatever, just let us know. We have some people in there now. I know, to give an update, we have, I was streaming Elite Dangerous one night, and we had a couple people come in. I think we had like 20 people at one point. It was pretty crazy, but I was talking to a funny guy who's actually in our Discord now. So shout out to him for coming and hanging out with us. He was trying to schedule an Elite Dangerous night, but he never ended up following through. But thanks for tuning in, all of you out there. If you have any questions for us, you may also leave them in the comments as well, and we will address them on the podcast. And yeah, if you enjoy our content, go ahead and hit subscribe, smash that motherfucking bell, and you could also follow us on Twitter for updates. If we go live streaming or if we're planning on doing anything, we'll keep you guys updated there. I'm trying to keep you guys updated because with YouTube, it will automatically update for new episodes and stuff like that. But I keep forgetting if I'm going to go on Twitch, I have to put it on the Twitter.
Yeah.
But,
But the smartest,
Yeah. So with all that out of the way, we're going to get on to our first segment of the night. Well, our night. And that is Germany or Florida, returning in again. I actually put some time into it, so I have it in the doc this time so I could read it, and it is edited properly and stuff like that. Jonathan just sent a text that says, up my hairy ass to the group chat.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks, Jonathan. Shout out to Jonathan and his hairy ass. Yeah. Keeping it good. So
Would it be possible to record these live and have
Yes.
the option? It would be.
yeah, we could. OBS is what we use to record, so we could record the thing live.
Oh, okay, that'd be pretty cool.
Maybe one point if we get big enough of a following.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
If you guys out there, if you want us to record live, let us know. And we
Yeah.
might do some live sessions so you could come in the chat and talk with us that way.
Live, unedited.
Maybe get like a fucking webcam.
Unedited.
Set up a webcam somewhere
Yeah,
and do that. Yeah, I'm down with that.
unedited, uncut.
Yeah, raw.
That's not really
Raw.
pretty.
Yeah.
I'm already pretty.
God,
You're never pretty.
All right, so getting to the segment, Germany or Florida. As always, this is an article we pull off the internet. It could either come from Germany or Florida, and they're both crazy-ass places, as we've seen from these articles in the past episodes. And I'm going to go ahead and read it off, and we're going to have our hosts give a guess and see what they think this is coming
Okay.
from.
Hey, he's back.
The Bork.
Bork.
All right, so we have vandals broke into a Catholic church in blank and peed into a bowl of holy water. Officials in blank were horrified to discover the destructive rampage which saw statues and other religious artifacts damaged. This was serious vandalism, said the parish secretary. The vandals struck between 3:30 p.m. and 5:40 p.m. on a Tuesday. As well as urinating in the holy water, they also broke 4 statues of apostles in the nave of the church, as well as damaging a bishop's staff,
Germany.
2 swords, an incense burner, and the church's newly renovated pipe organ. Several wreaths were stolen, one of which was found in the nearby school playground. Children returned it to the church. A spokesman for the nearby police said that the children, or youths, were viewed as likely suspects. So we already got our thought from Shawn. What about you guys? What do you think? Germany or Florida?
I think it's Florida because Catholicism isn't that big in Germany.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. I'd
It
say
is.
monotheistic.
Like, it's bigger in Florida.
I don't. Well,
A lot of
okay. All right.
Germany is Christian.
She's giving us logic.
Yeah,
I
like
appreciate
50%
it.
of
Yeah, but how
Germany
many
is-
Catholic churches have you seen with carved statues in Florida?
They have
I don't
them. We
know,
have one
yeah,
like an
like-
hour
They
away
have
from
them.
us,
There's
bro.
like 4.
Nah,
Four?
there's like 3 in Miami alone. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Maybe
I
not
say
in
Florida. I say
maybe not in bumfuck Egypt, northern Florida, where you live, but we have a couple down here
I
in
live in
Miami.
Central Florida, cockhole.
Whoa.
All right, so what about you, Antony? What do you think?
I think Germany.
Germany? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
and if I get it
Just
right, I'll
disagree with me, huh?
I wonder
no. I'll let you know why I think that after we get the answer, because I'm pretty sure I'm right. I'll point it out to you guys.
Okay, it might be something I forgot to omit in the article.
Yeah.
Did you look at the article, or is it
No,
something
I
I
didn't.
read?
No. Just the first time I've heard of it.
You just didn't omit something.
See?
I
Say
didn't
the-
omit something.
Yeah.
It's because I said nave.
Nope.
The fuck?
I'm
All right,
pretty
well,
sure
hopefully-
Sean caught it.
Maybe you guys out there caught it as well listening.
You cheated.
No.
You both cheated.
How'd they
Oh
cheat?
my-
How did I cheat?
I don't even have the answer in the article unless
I
they
didn't-
went
no,
they went on the subreddit
No,
because that's where it is.
I never looked at the article ever. I've never heard of this story.
Well,
either.
I don't even have a link to the article. It's just the article put in there and edited, unless someone was watching me as I was editing it, being a fucking creeper.
You just see our like cursor sitting there.
I don't doubt it.
Like, bitch.
Get out of here.
All right. Okay, so we'll come back to that after we go over our box office. What the fuck was that? We'll come back to that after we go over our box office hits for the week. We had Spider-Man come out. Last week, Despicable Me was doing
Surprisingly well.
insanely good. It's
Too
just
good.
Despicable Me.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the July 7th to July 9th weekend. Actually, wait, can I get the whole week? Is that possible? Uh-oh.
What happened July 7th to the 9th?
Here, weekly. Let's do it. Let's do the weekly. Sorry, everybody.
Wait, what happened that week? Or just news?
Yeah, just new. Well, no. It's the movies that came out in the week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, this is from July 7th to the 13th. Oh man, I know how to do this in the future now. But this is our weekly This is our weekly box office. So obviously, at number 1, we got Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has made $163 million over the past week. Wow.
I want that kind of money.
Yeah, imagine having just a percentage of that money.
Well, you can have it. How about that?
And its budget was $175 million, so within a week, it's already made its budget back.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
It's gonna make profit like starting
Oh yeah,
next week.
straight up. Especially when it starts coming to like, this is domestic too, so we haven't even talked about overseas. So
Oh damn.
yeah, crazy stuff. All right, at number 2, we got Despicable Me 3, which has over just the past week grossed $53 million. And then at number 3, we have Baby Driver, which is still going strong.
Wait, say that over.
Baby Driver.
Baby Driver.
Yeah.
Never even heard
It
of it.
looks pretty good.
Yeah. Despicable Me, real quick, Despicable Me 3's total gross is $169 million.
And its budget?
Its budget was like $80 million.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's
Well, it's all
which is still-
animated.
yeah, it's still a lot for an animated film.
Yeah, it
though.
is.
Yeah, well, they had a lot of voice actors in it. Like, I don't remember their names, so I suck ass with names. But yeah. Then we got Baby Driver at 3, which over the past week made $20 million. and has grossed 64 million total. And then number 4, I mean, oh my god, this is a shit show. Number 4 is Wonder Woman, which over the past week grossed 15 million and has a total of 373 million that it's grossed since it came out, and its budget was 149 million. So that's insane. Number 5, we have Transformers: The Last Night, which has made 9 million over the past week and has made a total of 122 million since it's been released.
Did we go see that together?
Its budget was $217 million.
Really?
Yeah, but a lot of the money, like me and Shawn talked about last week, a lot of the money that Transformers ends up making is overseas in the Asian market. Fucking Chinese love Transformers. It's weird.
Really?
Yeah, straight up.
I haven't even seen it. Like, I haven't heard anything about the Transformers movie.
God damn it. I'm just gonna like create a harness that like holds the mic to their head so they can't move their head.
No, just
called
glue
duct
your
tape,
face
dude.
to the wall right there. Glue your face there, and she's gonna have to look at your face
Yeah,
when
just
she
a
talks.
JPEG of me like grinning on
But you're
the
taking it
wall.
away from me.
Anthony, how do you come up with the most backwards ways to get, like, if you glue your face,
This
in
man,
zero gravity room
It's
with
a
did you hear?
giraffe
Did anyone else hear him say
balls,
bass backwards?
and she's gonna have to, like,
That was the-
I don't even.
Bass backwards.
Bass
the-
backwards.
I heard ass backwards.
heard-
that was just me.
I heard bass
That's
backwards.
because it's you.
Yeah. All right.
Damn.
So that was our box office tops. Spider-Man killing it. Wonder Woman's made a shitload of money. And then Transformers will probably make its budget because its budget was 217 million. For
I hope it
Transformers.
flops so they never make any more.
Well, they're gonna keep
No!
making them. No, they're gonna.
Yes!
Listen,
Yes!
listen. Those movies are fucking garbage, but they're gonna keep
They are
making them
garbage.
because they make so much money overseas.
I love
Michael
the.
Bay won't make
Good
them
for
anymore.
you.
but,
Yeah, they might.
somehow
It'd be
their
cool
ass
if
fell
we
well.
had like a return to form. I can't imagine it happening, but maybe
You mean
going
like
back.
Steven Spielberg doing what he should have done in the first place and directing it?
But something like
Asshole.
that. But maybe like even changing the design to like reflect the animated like Gen 1 Transformers. But again, I can't see them doing that now because they've made them so fucking complicated now. It wouldn't even feel like a Transformers.
They don't even have to do that. Just take some inspiration from them, you know? Bumblebee.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he talks. Holy shit. They had Prime Right in the first movie. They
Spoiler
had
alert.
Prime Right in the second movie. They fucked him up a little bit in the third movie. They turned him into a giant cock in the fourth movie, like for no fucking reason. He's an asshole. He's like, well, humans were assholes, so fuck you guys. Like, dude, Prime, on his worst day, never said that. I'm a
Oh,
diehard
okay.
Transformers
Okay,
fan.
I'm confused with
I
that.
wish Optimus Prime was one of my dads, and he would never fucking do that. Prime is the epitome of a paladin.
Dude, he could take
He
you to
will
school too,
suffer
and it's
before anyone else.
just transforms and you got to ride to school. Hey guys, I'm beside my dad. Well, that was kind of weird.
No. wait.
Hey, there goes Kyle making it weird again.
Yeah, that's my job, fam.
Making it awkward.
Yo, awkward. All right. So that was our box office tops. Spider-Man killing it.
Yep.
I don't think anyone would be surprised seeing that since it's Marvel and Marvel's. Goddamn. What I would do to have just 1% of the revenue they've made on just like the cinematic universe they've created.
0.5%.
Even like a 1/10%.
Yeah.
You can still pay for your college.
Yeah, exactly.
Like all 4 years, you can pay for your bachelor's.
My question is why people are so like into superhero movies still.
You
It's like the same
Well,
shit
it wasn't
over and over
always this
again.
way. This has happened over the past couple years, but it's just become super.
Ever since like
Pop culture.
What was the first? I think it was like Iron Man. The first Iron Man that did like.
Yeah, the first Iron Man was
ridiculously
what
good. And
kicked
then
everything
it
off.
started to go
Yeah.
like downhill.
No,
since then.
first Iron Man didn't kick everything off. It kicked off the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
But
what-
we've
yeah.
had comic book movies for years.
Oh yeah, we had
I
like
mean,
a Captain America movie
Yeah, but
in
I'm
like the
saying
early
like,
'90s.
since then.
Well, look
I
at
know
Spawn.
I'm not talking about that
Spawn.
either because they weren't popular then. I'm talking about Blade. I'm talking about X-Men, which was
Spawn.
before Iron Man. I'm talking
What's
Spawn. There's
They
been
just
a
put
ton
Spawn
of
on
comic
Netflix.
book movies. They
Oh.
didn't get huge until Spider-Man. Spider-Man, the original
Yeah.
Tobey
Yeah.
Maguire series, kicked off and it just snowballed and snowballed and snowballed. You started seeing them more and more frequently. Fantastic Four,
Hulk.
but even then, they were still genre
Fantastic Four.
pieces. They would pop up here and there, but they weren't
Even
all
Hulk.
the time.
It's just
Marvel
so
has
annoying.
created it as a
It's
mainstay.
just so annoying. Every single time you look at the movie theater, there's always a superhero movie out.
But yeah, and you have a point
It's
where they
because
do.
the fucking
It's-
geeks are reigning supreme now.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
geek culture has been growing and growing, and we used to be stepping stones, and now we're running the fucking show. So now that you have geeks in charge of everything, you're getting geek
Can you
stuff.
not
You're getting
slam on the
comic
table like
books,
that?
and you got goths in charge making Invader Zim and all this other fucking shit popping up. The people that used to get shit on are the ones in charge. That's why you're getting all this weird stuff now.
Well,
'Cause
look at
we're fucking
Netflix.
pissed.
Look at Netflix now. If you look at the most popular on Netflix, like the first 10 is straight anime. And if it's not anime, it's like some sort of sci-fi movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Are you
it's
serious?
all anime.
Have you seen Castlevania yet?
Yes, I have. I'm so upset that it was just like 4 episodes. It's like, I want more. Even though
They're
it's
making
dubbed.
another season.
It
Like,
was
the
a
animation
movie.
was
They
good.
chopped it into pieces.
Oh, really?
They're making a
Yeah.
second season.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
that. The same people. Go ahead, Sean.
Well, you're probably going to say some of the same shit I did, so I'll leave it to you. But I'm a diehard Castlevania fan. I know the story inside and out, and I was very afraid of watching it because I was very afraid of what they were going to do. And considering they went with a quasi-budget animation, they did a pretty fucking good job with the animation and the story. Although it's got some drastic changes to it, it adheres closer to the canon storyline than anything Marvel's done.
Really?
Like it does. I mean,
See, because I went into it not knowing too much about it, and I knew that you were a big fan of it. So eventually, I was gonna ask you if they stuck to. Like,
yeah, they
the
were
canon.
pretty good with it. They changed some
Okay.
stuff, you know. Spoiler warning. I'll try and keep it to under a minute. When Dracula did that whole, you know, his wife was killed. When she was killed, Alucard was a young boy. I think he was like 13. Well, I mean, and bear in mind, who knows how old a fucking vampire who's live born, how they grow, because he's a Dhampir. He's a half breed.
Right.
So there really are no rules for him because he's the first of his kind. But when he was born, he aged slowly, extremely slowly. But I mean, he hits a certain point, his aging stops. So when he was 13, he was still 13, and he was in the town. He was chasing the mob that took his mother, and he was chasing after them, trying to rescue her with his power. And she turned and saw him and told him not to do anything, to leave it alone, and to pass on the message to his father, forgive them for they know not what they do. And he watched her die because he couldn't bring himself to walk away. So he followed into the town. He saw them light the fire, and he watched his mother burn to death to protect the humans for their sake. Because he wasn't doing it for her own. She could have been rescued at any time. And then his father found out and went fucking batshit, and that was then the last vestiges of Dracula's soul died. Or I should say, he still got like 0.5%, because every now and then he does something slightly humane, but for the most part, he's just demonic after that point. He's so disgusted that he decides to kill everyone in Wallachia. There's more to it than that, but yeah, there's a huge time gap between when Dracula started killing everybody and just unleashed demons on the countryside, and when Trevor actually goes after him. And there was actually a few Belmonts in between and some other stories as well. But Trevor's is the first major, I'd say, Belmont-related conflict. There's other parallel universes where stuff happened and shit, but this is the first big story in the Castlevania. There's other stuff that happened beforehand, prequels and prologues and such.
Well, yeah, I can imagine.
That was
So they kind of just made it a year. Like,
that was Castlevania, the audiobook by Shawn.
no, believe me, I could talk for hours on it. I love the story. And the funny thing is when the games started, they were just dinky 8-bit games, really, really good ones, but they were still 8-bit games. So the story was extremely thin, if any. They didn't go back and flesh out all of this detail until Symphony of the Night hit it big. And Symphony of the Night started off as a sleeper, and it started getting discounted before people realized what they had on their hands or even knew that it came out, because there wasn't much of much, if any, of an ad campaign for it. So when it came out on PlayStation 1, stores put on the shelves, nobody bought it, they discounted it. I didn't even know it came out. I went into a Walmart, saw it, bought it. It became so popular, they marked it back up to full price. So I bought it for like $14 when it was $60 new. And I played it and fucking loved the shit out of it. And they tried to put more story in that time because it was a next gen console, and that kind of blew up from there. And then they started making little one shot mangas and little animated bits, and even or putting it up on a website. They put up all this fucking storyline on websites for people to read. They made books. It's a whole universe now. And then fucking Kojima fucked it up. Like,
I wish you guys saw my face when I think I had the same face as Trevor when he saw
I'm gonna
that.
kill Shawn's dog. I'm gonna come to his house and fucking slaughter his dog. I think.
Bork. No, but I think my face was the same face as Trevor's when he saw that when he discovered who the speaker was, the missing speaker was.
If you guys want to see the show,
Cypher?
watch the show. So let's leave it at that. Let's stop talking about the show. Like, what happens? We're not reviewing this show.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I just mentioned it and I went into a huge tangent.
well, Cypher comes from a bloodline of vampire hunters
Shawn,
too.
what did I just say? God damn it. So one thing I thought was weird is that
The speaker mage, though.
I previously thought,
I'm looking it up.
I previously thought that it was done by a Japanese animation studio, but it's not. So it's entirely an American animated show. I thought it was a Japanese show. So I don't know why people are still calling it an anime, because it's not, which is weird. I think it's just because it just looks like an anime. I thought it was
Anime
an
is a style. It's not really a culture thing. Because
Well,
there's Japanese anime.
anime-
I mean, there's Chinese anime.
Sworn it was a Korean team.
I
thought it was the same team that worked on something else.
No, it was animated by Frederator Studios and Powerhouse Animation Studios, and they're both. I think. Well, they're not Asian studios, but they had. But anime is a shortened form of Japanimation, which is Japanese animation. So people refer to it as Chinese
animation. Japanimation is a stupid American word. Anime is a term for anime. It's the Japanese word for animation.
That's what I'm saying.
It's Romanized.
Yeah,
You said it's a shortened form of Japanimation.
Well, that's what it became. That's what it became.
Crusty honky
over time.
What?
What the fuck? Shawn, you're showing your age with your insults. Can't do that.
I liked it,
I
Shawn.
called you a crusty honky. Thank you very much.
Yeah, what was that? Like, that sounded like an insult from when they were burning witches.
Whoa. Oh, that got dark. Whoa.
So,
Wait till you're not expecting it and hit you so far below the belt, your soul won't know what happened.
Did I see Fate staying out over there, Antony?
No, I'm looking at Castlevania.
Oh,
I'm trying to. Shawn, please help me out. What
No,
is the name?
we're
What is
done.
the name? Wait, no. All I want is a name, and then we're done. What is the name of this?
You're peeking over there, screaming into the microphone.
The speaker mage, the one from Castlevania, the newest one.
She's a sorcerer. Saifa Belnares.
Who?
Saifa Belnares.
Belnutist.
Okay, I got it.
Belnares.
Wait, can you say the first name again?
She's a Spaniard.
She's a Spaniard.
SYPHABELNADES.
Hey, run
Spell
that.
Saifa Belnades.
Just type your first name. Are you
Right there.
I got it.
Okay, good. He's going. Stop screaming in the mic. For fuck's sake. This show's a mess.
I got it.
I'm gonna let you guys all know, even though I have a device designed to amplify my voice, so y'all can hear it. I'm gonna scream in the microphone anyway.
Humongous girl.
Humongous.
She was like screaming into the microphone.
Okay.
Oh man.
All right. So yeah, that's Castlevania. It's cool. They're bringing a second season, and they're also
right.
making an Assassin's Creed show in the same vein, basically.
Let's move on.
All right. So let's go on and move back. We're going to go ahead and drop the answer for Germany and Florida. It was, in fact, Can I get a drum roll,
Germany.
please? Not on the table, not on the table. God damn it. Stop.
You
stop.
asked and we delivered.
Son of a bitch. Okay. It is, in fact, Germany. Yep, it is Germany.
You wanna know what gave it away?
What gave it away?
The police in Paris.
Did I?
Kyle! Wait, what was the answer?
Oh my
What
god.
was the answer?
It was Germany.
Forgot already. Germany. No.
Where did I say that? I don't see that in here.
In Paris.
I smacked myself in the face when you said that.
Officials in blank.
How did I not catch that?
Officials in Paris.
Vandals struck as well as urinating. They've also broken. Pipe. Children. I never said Paris.
Yeah,
Where the
you
fuck
did.
Did you hear
You did.
Paris?
Paris
You?
is in
said-
France.
Yeah, but it's over there on the other side of the planet.
Catholic Church in blank and peed into the blank. I never fucking said Paris.
Wait, Shawn, did you hear
You did
Paris?
say Paris. I heard Paris too, yeah.
I didn't,
Yeah, I heard
didn't-
Paris.
I obviously wasn't paying attention.
Maybe you
I
just
guess.
said it,
Oh.
not knowing that you said
I
it.
had no idea why Paris officials would be weighing in on a German thing, but I figured
Because-
maybe the story broke in a French newspaper.
Maybe.
I don't have Paris written down here, and I was
I don't
reading
even-
from
I
this.
didn't
Wait.
I didn't hear it
even-
either. You guys,
We'll go back to the recording.
we'll hear it
crazy.
again. We'll
hear it again.
That's okay. Well, it was Germany.
Well, at least I had logic behind my answer.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. So
It was a good, valiant effort.
I don't have Paris in my thing, so I didn't do anything wrong. I don't remember saying it either. All right. So we're gonna move on. Going on to our next segment, we're starting a review corner where if we see something that we want to share with you guys or talk about, we will give it a couple minutes of the podcast, discuss what we liked, what we didn't like about it. And this week we will be doing a silent voice, or in the Japanese translation is koe no katachi, which I think translates to the shape of voice. So I'm gonna have Caitlyn start.
The
What do we
shape
think
of
about
your
this movie,
voice.
Cam? Because me and Caitlyn watched this together with our mother, and it is done by Kyoto. Is it Kyoto? I think it was Kyoto
Yeah, I think
Animation. It was done by Kyoto Animation. I'm gonna pull up the wiki real quick just to give some information on it. And Cam, what did you think about it?
I really liked it. I cried a few times, actually. It really tugged at my heartstrings. Not a lot of things do that. And
My Kokoro.
my Kokoro, it cried for once.
Stop.
I feel like the Japanese have a really good way of conveying a person's feelings when they're
Well,
that's a,
now
never mind,
again,
never mind.
now again, because this is
That
the
depends
same.
on the director.
Okay,
yeah.
well, I really liked it. I really liked the
It
movie.
did a good job.
It did a very
but
good
the
job.
Japanese do tend to fail heavily in the character development area as well.
I guess, but this
depends
one
on the
had some
genre,
good character
too.
development. I felt it was very well done. The animation was beautiful, and it had
That's
a very
Kyoto for you, fam.
yeah, it had a really good story. So I very much enjoyed it. Kyle,
All right,
where's
so real
that
quick,
wiki?
just some information on it. It was done by Kyoto Animation. It is based on a manga. It came out September 17th, 2016. It is 130 minutes long, and it actually made 2.3 billion yen. So it made about $20 million, which is pretty good for, because some of the Ghiblis didn't even make that much. Well, the later Ghiblis didn't make that much. So, yeah, I think again it is like a slice of life film following
I hate that.
these. What happened?
He's like, I hate that
You
term.
use that on everything.
No, not
Your
necessarily.
face is a slice of
But
life.
this
How about
is
that?
I'd say a slice of life because because in this follows it to like its truest form, because other shows that they do label a slice of life take place in a school and have unrealistic characters. This is the closest thing to an actual slice out of someone's life because we're actually experiencing real characters. And a lot of shows they label it that. I don't feel the characters are realistic enough for it to be determined that. But I see what you mean. They kind of just slap it on everything that's not like an action or a comedy or something like that. Even comedies they do it. But I feel like
I thought it was just a genre.
it is a genre.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it's.
I thought it was pretty
misrepresented, though.
distinct. It's
Yeah.
just the way it was made.
Well, slice of life just refers, again, it's weird because it refers to like a realistic depiction of a person's life, but that doesn't always happen, and it still gets slapped on anyway because they can't fit it in anyone else because it's just like a shitty show about kids in school that has nothing happens. They have shows exactly like that. They actually have a lot of shows like that, and you're like, shit, what did I just watch?
So is Nichijou count?
Nichijou's a comedy.
Okay.
I'd say it's first a comedy
Like
because
that-
they do unrealistic. There's
no.
unrealistic shit in Nichijou.
No, you're right.
Like that show with that girl that can, with the orange hair that can read minds. I think. What's the name of that show?
Oh, and do you remember that? And like in the first episode,
What's the name of the show?
her mind like broke.
And she had, like, orange
She could
hair,
read people's
short orange
minds,
hair.
and her mom left her because of that.
Oh yeah, it was like super dark at the
Yeah, it
beginning.
was
starts
like
with a
really
K or
fucked up.
something.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called.
I forgot what it was called too, but I know what you're talking about.
That show is a slice of life, but it's
No, well-
very unrelatable. Yeah, it's a slice of life.
Is it?
I know.
really?
If you look under the
that's
genre,
that's
it's
what
a slice
Shawn
of
is
life.
saying.
Yeah,
though.
that's what I'm-
He doesn't
it's
like
like-
that the term is used
I'm
so
giving
often.
an example.
Okay.
Is that an example of one?
That's a misrepresented slice of life.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
it's
It doesn't
it's
make- you can't
supernatural.
relate to it,
Well,
yeah.
they might I don't know. They might have it broken. It might be labeled as a supernatural slice. I don't know. It's weird, but I think this adheres to it pretty realistically. They have relatable characters. Antony, I think Antony's found the character he was looking for in Google Images.
I did.
Okay.
So far, there isn't that much fan art, so
it's-
I'm kind of disappointed.
He's looking for stuff to go in the Spank Bank.
I swear to fucking Christ, dude, if you send me pictures of Castlevania shit fucking, our friendship is done.
No, not Castlevania, just her.
And no Optimus Prime either.
Ooh.
Ooh, that could be arranged.
Stop.
I can find plenty of stuff about that. That one's old.
He could transform into anything,
I will
dude.
hurt you.
Transform into your wildest dreams. You wanted to be your daddy, right, Shawn?
that little moment of silence.
Okay. So let's actually talk. Let's actually fucking
don't worry.
talk about the film.
Don't worry, Shawn.
Now, I agree with what I feel like. This is a closest, not the closest, but this is a really close form of a slice of life. I think the characters are very relatable. I think sometimes there's some things that happen. Okay, Antony, stop. Pay attention, please. I'm not going to let you bring your iPad to the podcast anymore.
I told you to take it away from him last time.
Look, I'm getting a.
He found a nipple, so he's zooming in on the nipple.
No, it's just.
That's too high up to be a nipple. Oh my God.
That's
She
anime
has really
for you.
perky boobs.
I guess.
Or they're fake. There
Well,
you go.
Her nose.
All right. Let's can we talk? Let's talk about it. Let's actually.
I'm putting
spend
it
some
away.
time-
I'm putting it
let's-
away.
let's
Good. I'm
actually-
putting it away.
I'm gonna give what I thought about it. We're gonna not spoil anything, and then after we all give us general, basically things, we'll do a spoiler talk. Just a little spoiler talk. We'll give a warning, and we'll talk about it. Once we announce our spoiler warning, that's your sign to pause the fucking episode, go watch the film, and come back if you care. If you don't give a shit, that's fine. Just keep listening. But
It's worth it.
I
It's
do
very worth it to
recommend
watch
watching it.
I haven't
because
seen it yet, so does that mean I just leave and come back later?
No, you get all the spoilers.
You're here.
You had
You
time.
you
You
had
had
it.
to watch
You
that
had
shit
time.
2 weeks ago.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
exactly.
So you're
So
getting
you get the
spoiled. You
spoilers.
got to fucking deal
Shame
with
on
it.
you.
All right. So I feel like they did a good job of representing emotion, and it's weird to say that because that's not something we always receive in anime. There's a lot of times where you'll see something, a character will respond to something in some way, and you're like, that wasn't particularly realistic. Or we'll have shows where characters don't develop, or just things where people are again, and it falls to a lot of the genres. Like shonen, I don't think is all of the characters may be relatable in their struggle. I think that the characters themselves
I
Don't-
don't think they're very relatable.
represent
in shonen.
human emotion.
At all.
It's like you have like a kid that's like just recently acquired power, and he's put up against like this alien villain that's murdered thousands of people. He's like, I can do it with the power of my friends.
No. That's not always true, though, because Boku does a pretty good fucking job
Well,
of
Boku's
making
a
Deku.
very big exception.
Well, Boku's an
Very-
actual like. I
It's
think
decent.
I'm,
It's like
I'm saying
very
like
good though.
I'm saying because I think Boku is like a perfect example of a shonen because
Yeah.
besides the fact that it
Well,
doesn't
Boku's
have
a 4th gen shonen, too. It's had, Dragon Ball and Ranma to learn from. It's had fucking what the fuck? I don't even remember the second gen. Second gen shonens was Naruto and Bleach. Then you had Hunter x Hunter, which is fucking unbelievably phenomenal and
Yeah,
is a
it's really
genre
good.
breaker.
So good.
Right.
So good.
And that's a 3rd gen. and then you've got the 4th gen, and Hunter x Hunter, was it Fairy Tail was really good. The stupid pirate one that everybody fucking loves, and I can't
One
stand
Piece.
the animation. One Piece.
Like
That
5?
one.
Where you want to go?
And but you still have certain flaws that pop up in some of the 3rd gen ones. But this is a brand new crop of shonen stuff. So hopefully we'll see more stuff that takes a step apart and focuses more on the internal workings, as opposed to like accidentally falling into titties.
Yeah. Let's try and keep this. We're almost at an hour already, so
Damn,
we're gonna run over. But I'm gonna try and do a little bit of damage control to prevent us from doing like a 3-hour podcast. So
Oh, you see what I'm talking about really quick? So
yeah, he's showing.
Do you know how
Netflix.
long it has been since we've done how many people were there for the last podcast? Not me, right? And then before that, everybody else was missing. So it's been like, 4 weeks or 3 weeks or some shit like that since I've had a chance to be enveloped in the love of Caitlyn and Antony and Kyle
I
all
understand.
together,
But we're also
like one big delicious sandwich. So
Think
if
of
it
the-
happens to run over, then fuck it.
It's going to run over. I'm assuming I'm trying to prevent it from being a 3.5 hour podcast, and I end up having to stop the podcast and get dressed and leave for work. We're trying to prevent that. So I'm just trying to do some damage control. Listen, we're trying to keep this condensed too, so we don't
Okay,
ramble.
move on then.
All right. So I think the movie, it was very well animated, and that accounts for both actual movement, the actual animation, and I felt like the backgrounds were very well drawn. I feel like the characters were varied, and it felt like it wasn't like
chemistry.
not chemistry, but I didn't feel like we had a
There
bunch
was
of
diversity.
there's very amongst the character design, and I think they tried to keep it true to where they gave characters personality in their animation, but they didn't make everything look fucking crazy. Like there's no characters besides the little chubby kid, who's my
I
my
love
favorite.
him.
He's fucking adorable.
Literal.
They keep everyone in again, we're trying to make it relatable so that people can get invested in these characters, and I think they did a good job of that. The story, I think I think with the characters evolving, I think the way they portray the story and the characters evolving, I think the way they run in with one another is really cool. It's a story about trying to, the main character we have is dealing with basically, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Not depression, but he feels bad that he picked on this girl when she was younger,
Guilt.
right? Guilt. And that story is also him trying to basically make it up to this girl, right? So to give a little run, I'm gonna give a quick run through of plot without any spoilers. So we have Koi no Katachi, or the Sound of Voice, is basically a show. It's a slice of life. It's about a girl that was born. I don't think she was born deaf because she could speak, but she became deaf
You can
early.
learn how to speak.
Yeah, but her speech was extremely poor, so she probably
Yeah, I
learned. She was doing mouth shape. She's been deaf since birth
Yeah, she
because
does.
her words were so poorly phrased and placed in Japanese that's why she made and forgive my insensitivity here, but that's why she made the honking noises.
Yeah,
Like,
And shout out to that voice
the
actress.
deaf person
Yeah,
that
they didn't-
talks has never heard the word before. It's because they're doing the mouth shapes, and
Yeah.
it's kind of close.
and they can't hear themselves either, so they're having to deal with. They don't know what they sound like either. So
Right.
it's hard to manage your tone if you can't hear yourself speak. So I think now
It might
there's a
have been
couple.
that she was extremely young. when
That
it
too,
happened too.
but-
It just has a distant memory.
Yeah, so she's deaf and she's grown up this way, and it's her growing up in her life dealing with this disability. And another interesting thing is this gives us a little bit of a view into how the Japanese deal with disabilities and how they treat disabilities in general. Because the Japanese, the way they are, as people from what I've heard from other people that have lived in Japan and people that have dealt with Japanese people, is they're very protective, but not to a point where, like me and Caitlyn noticed it during one of the things. She can't hear. They had her in music class
Singing. Yeah.
and they like to keep everyone together. And
They like to include everyone in
but
everything.
they like to include anyone, but they won't they acknowledge that it's a problem, but they won't work on trying to get them help. Kind of like if it was in the States, she would have been in. If it was in the States, she would have been in. As soon as she was born, she would have been going through special classes. Yeah. They don't have stuff like that everywhere in Japan. I'm not saying they don't have it at all.
No.
But it's not
as
prevalent.
For a long time, weakness wasn't a thing that was tolerated. You hid people. They didn't go out. They didn't go and get jobs. They kind of stayed at home, and the family took care of them. They were considered a burden or a weakness. It took a long time. And now, bear in mind, this also goes situation by situation, area of the country by area of the country. This isn't I'm just saying in extremely broad strokes that when you had any kind of a disability or any kind of a crippling feature of any kind, you were kind of off to the side. The family might be overprotective of you, but there wasn't a lot of concessions society would make for you. It just wasn't something that was done.
Yeah.
And they have specialty schools now, but there's not many of them. And moving is an expensive thing. Getting to places costs a lot of money. Japan's a very expensive country. It's a giant ass island. It's not. It's like a Hawaii. It's not cheap.
All that stuff. Yeah.
So she's going to a normal school, and the school's making tiny concessions for her, but not much at all. And you saw the teachers knew she was being bullied, and they did little to stop it. Yeah. It's one of those things. It wasn't until things got extreme where they're like, all right, you guys got to stop fucking around.
And even then, it wasn't it wasn't like a whole big got to stop everything. It was just something they dragged one to the side, blah blah blah, dealt with them that way. It wasn't like they. I'm trying to think of what I want to say.
If you think about how they deal with bullying here, it's a very serious issue. Teachers are always telling students to talk about it, to come out and tell people if something's happening, but you don't get that impression in this movie. That bullying is a big deal in that country. They take it very seriously. It doesn't feel like they take it very seriously in that movie.
Yeah. We also don't know exactly when the movie takes place.
It's also middle school.
Yeah.
And these kids are afraid of something they don't understand. It's different.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to work with it. And at first it's cool and it's new, but then there's jealousy because some kids give her special treatment or they're more interested in her than them. You see that shit no matter what school you go to in middle school and elementary school. The jealousy, the fear of something you don't understand, or just disliking it because it's something you don't understand.
I see it all the time.
Yeah, Antony takes care
I remember it very clearly when I was in elementary school. I personally, I didn't bully her, but there was this one girl who came to our school that was deaf that all of a sudden I got all of my attention, and I couldn't stand her for fucking 2-3 weeks. I hated her guts, and I was I don't know, second fucking grade, and
Shawn
all of a sudden nobody was paying attention to me anymore.
Did you go back to her, Shawn? Did you find her? Did you learn sign language?
Oh no, fuck no.
I don't mean
we were cool by the end, but this is, and also remember in Japan, it's not. Granted, this is a different day and age, so it's much more. You see it more often. For instance, the one girl who was kind of a cunt the whole movie, but you still have a lot of females that are passive, a lot of ones that would rather apologize than take an aggressive stance or stick up for themselves. And bullying is very much a problem in that country because there's a lot of passivity. There's a lot of things that are seen as inappropriate, or rude to do in public. She takes it and takes it and takes it and comes back with a smile and gives love back until finally, he pushes her to the brink and she beats the fuck out of him. Or at least, for her.
That scene
was so good.
That scene was super powerful.
I wanted to fucking punch him, knock his cock through his face. I was so fucking angry. I was like, you were laying your hands, dude. I have never, except for fucking beating the shit out of my sister in elementary school, I have never laid my hands on a fucking female like he did. I don't care if it's fucking middle school. I would have put him through the fucking windows. I would have picked his ass up and tossed him through glass.
Yeah, but when she was like sitting on him and like smacking him and stuff with her hands and
trying
stuff,
to talk
and she was saying I'm doing my best, and you see that he's presented that struggle that she's going through. I thought that scene was strong.
There were a lot of scenes in that movie that were very powerful.
Yeah, because you have emotions. All these emotions are clashing. You have the fear of the unknown coming from these. Now, the whole movie does not take place in middle school. Whoever for you out there thinking we're gonna continue to go through the plot a little bit.
And shit.
Yeah, but the fear of the unknown, the jealousy of being treated differently, the dealing with not being able to hear, and having to cooperate with these kids that see you differently. It's a scary thing. It's scary on both sides because the kids don't know the difference and why she's deaf, or they see her differently and she sees the world differently, and she's afraid of these kids because of the way they view her and the way that eventually they end up treating her.
Out of anybody, she was the least afraid. I mean, well, let me rephrase that. I'm sure she was terrified, but she never let on. She was always putting on a positive face. You don't know the kind of agony she goes through until you're halfway through the movie and you see her and she runs and hides. Like she's, 17, 18 years old, and she runs and crawls next to a wall and tries to hide from him. That, by the way, it's spoilers from Jump, guys. If you're listening,
wait. Let me go over. I'm gonna go over the plot. Wait. I'm gonna go over the plot real quick, and then we're gonna jump into spoiler. Let me just do a quick.
Giving our impressions, and we're like this all over the place.
We will. After when we're gonna give our impressions after the spoiler talk. We're just gonna talk about the film real quick, for people that have seen it, so they could get where we're coming from and when we're talking about certain things. So, plot of the movie. So this happens. This boy bullies this girl. He grows up. He ends up trying to find and meet her, and it's a redemption story. He's trying to redeem the actions. Nice count. He's trying to redeem the actions that he felt were wrong, which were wrong when he was younger. And it's him dealing.
Important to note, it's beyond it's an extremely potent one because he's got PTSD from the bullying he went through after.
We'll get.
The whole time he never wanted to be cruel, but he was just being cruel. And anytime she would return kindness with his horrible behavior, it just made him more angry, not at her, but at himself. But he took it out on her because, again, he's young and doesn't know how to express himself, and he's used to being a popular kid and so on. But he actually gets it like a form of PTSD between, like his second or third year in middle school and his like first or second year in high school.
Yeah.
To the point where he doesn't talk to anyone. He can't make facial contact. He has no friends.
Well, it's not because
skills are neutered.
The moment that she eventually,
it's a pretty severe psychosis, man.
Yeah. She eventually leaves the school that they're in. She's left. They've broken several of her hearing aids. Her mother has sent her out, and they injured her. Yeah. He is given the blame for her, what's happened to her, and he is singled out. This also goes to him being ostracized because of what he did. So he's treated as a bully, and through multiple years,
most of the class was looking away, and not doing anything, or they were taking part in it.
Yeah, there were others. He's singled out because just how kids are. They're so quick that they're quick to throw their friends under the bus, stuff like that. It's just like it's a lot of the start of it. A lot of the movie is drama. It's school drama. So but then again, it's a slice of life. That's where it thrives, I guess. But so after the initial, she leaves. He's singled out, and he goes through multiple years of being ostracized, of being bullied in himself, not physically, but emotionally by these other kids, his used to be friends. And what ends up happening to him...
They beat the shit out of him, dude. They didn't show it, but he got his shit beat because he was bleeding, he was all scuffed up. They fucked him up.
They did mess him up, yeah. I forget that one kid that his eyes were weird. Not the other dude. You remember the other dude that was like really chill, but he's an asshole? You know what I'm talking about?
Blonde dude?
Yeah. So he's bullied, and he's bullied for several years, and he feels like he's taken it because he feels like he deserves it, and he gets to a point where now he has shut himself away from the world, and the way they show it, I think, is really cool because they show when he tends the way he is, he tends to look down. He does not make eye contact like Shawn said, and basically the way they represent this in the animation is their X's like taped on to the people around him.
Like emojis almost.
Yeah. And as he goes through, we'll talk about that as well. So basically, he's gone through this. He's trying to redeem himself, and he's dealing with what he had to go through for multiple years of being bullied himself. But so his worth has dropped tremendously. He does not think of himself as a human being. He thinks of himself as lower. He feels that he's deserved all the shit that he's been put through and stuff like that. And so that's a little bit of the movie. It's his redemption story, him trying to make up for what he's done. And these students that lived in this school and in this situation, how they've grown up and moved on, and some of them have stayed pretty static, and some of them how they've evolved basically throughout these years. So right now, I'm going to throw huge spoilers. We're going to talk about a little bit of the second half of the movie where some more vital stuff tends to happen. And if you have not seen this movie, if you are interested in watching it, pause this, stop this episode. I give you the permission to stop this episode right now. Leave a like and a comment.
Yes, because they had to ask Uncle Kyle if they could stop.
And go watch the film. We all here thought it was good for anime. I highly recommend it because it does different
for anything. For a movie, it's extremely good. Fuck for anime.
Yeah, it's very good. I highly recommend it if you have not seen it. I don't want to. It sucks that I have to say it, but I do. I don't know where you could find it. I don't know what services are on. Try if you can legally stream it. Try and find somewhere where you can. If you can't, it is on Kiss Anime, and it is available there. So if you go to kissanime.ru, you could find it there. That's their website. And again, I don't like saying to legally stream it, but if you have the options of finding it legally, definitely go that route first. So we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the spoilers. We're going to go quick over what actually, should we really, or should we just give a review?
I think we should just give a review, and we can.
I think we should just give a review because we're already late into it. So I'm going to give my review real quick, and then we'll go on to Caitlyn, Antony, and then Shawn will go last because he's.
I haven't seen it.
Antony hasn't
So
seen it.
can I drop spoilers then?
Yeah, you could drop spoilers. I already left the reward, so if you want to drop a spoiler in your review, you can do that. That's fine. And so we're gonna do me, Caitlyn, and Shawn. Say the best for last, and we'll go through it basically. So my thoughts on the movie. Again, we've talked about it a little bit, but I thought it was very relatable. I thought the characters were They were dynamic characters. They changed. The two main characters had a lot of personality and change that they went throughout the film. You feel like you grew up with these characters and you felt very attached to these characters. And they do a little nut check later on to kind of see how attached you truly are. And even if you weren't paying attention to it, you kind of get an idea that you find out about how attached you truly are to these characters later on. I thought the movie was good. I thought it was pretty. It was well animated. I thought the character design was good. It was funny at times. It had some good, funny moments. I enjoyed it. And it felt like a journey. We're going through these characters' lives. We're learning more about them. There were very powerful moments. You have these students and their ideals colliding with each other, and some of the problems that they've had colliding with each other as well. And I enjoyed it a lot. I cried twice. I had 2 times where I cried. I cried when she was like hitting him and she's saying, "I'm doing my best," and she said it in the way she speaks. I thought that was really that's like the first time that, because this whole time she's been covering it. She's been showing it. She's been pushing it back, the struggle that she's had. She's been hiding it away from them. And then she's just had enough where the point where it just boils over and it comes out in that emotion. There's a cat in this room. Hey, Boots. So it comes out in that emotion.
Nowhere there's a cat.
And so I really enjoyed the characters. I really liked the main character girl. She's not only is she strong, but she's adorable as well. A lot of times, females in shows, or they just fall down to being either a placeholder or something you could oogle at or something like that. But she was strong. She's a strong character. Despite the issues that she has in her disability, she shows a lot of... It's weird because I want to say she's strong, but she does try and take the easy way out because she does attempt, again, we gave the spoiler, she does attempt to kill herself. And my personal view on that...
Maybe that was a hard decision.
I understand. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm just saying...
She blames herself for everything. She has the
same
problem he does.
Yeah, she does end up blaming herself for the things that happened because of the way she was born. She believes like it's her fault, that everything that happened to her was that problem, and she does attempt to take her life. And we're gonna
I feel like
Time limit?
let Caitlyn. We're gonna talk about that moment after everyone gives their review, because I want to see what everyone was going through everyone's minds when that shit happened. But that was my thoughts. It was a very good movie. If this sounds any way, if you want like something that's very heartwarming, that gets heavy as fuck and deals with the ideas of suicide and depression and dealing with just going through school and being ostracized and bullied, this does a very good job of displaying those emotions in a very relatable and realistic way. So I highly recommend it for that. Go ahead, Caitlyn.
Oh, and in case you guys are
5 out of 5.
interested, which I know you are, the author has said that they do remain together into adulthood. So
yes!
there you go.
They do in the manga. They're together. Where it is currently.
There's a hint that that there's a future for them, but it doesn't go into it because that's not the point of the story. The romance is extremely, extremely back burner. That's not the point of the story.
Yeah,
the point of the story is their mutual redemption.
I'm pretty sure in the manga they are together currently.
I feel like that makes it really unique.
Oh,
the fact that
I give it. We're gonna give it on a 5. I give it a 5 out of 5. I liked it a lot. I didn't find a lot of problems. I had one issue, real quick. One issue. I felt that the thing after he was injured and all that stuff happened, and he basically walks out of the hospital, that kind of threw it for me. I know that the point was to build that tension and emotion and then to have them meet each other, but that kind of, I was like, that wouldn't really happen. He wouldn't just walk up.
They would have fucking dragged his ass kicking and screaming back
into the hospital.
He ran out in the hospital gown. Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, I'm like,
that's the one time that they bent reality for the sake of the story.
Yeah, and then they make it a nice moment afterwards. That was the only problem I have. I still do give it a 5 out of 5. It's a very good film, and I enjoyed it a lot. And the characters are very good. So, what do you think, Caitlyn?
I forgot a lot of my thoughts. I feel like
I gotta work with you guys on how to do a review where we don't give spoilers in the future.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. This is the first time we're attempting this, so we're gonna go through. Go ahead, Ken. What do you think?
Thank you for finally letting me speak.
I'm sorry.
I think the way that the movie portrayed like suicide, it was it was more realistic than a lot of pop culture is in the States. There's a TV series on Netflix called 13 Reasons Why. And that is something like the biggest thing that deals with suicide. And the thing about that is that that type of suicide.
Talking to the mic, son of a bitch.
The girl that committed suicide in that TV show, she did it to like get back at other people. Because like if you've ever heard of it, she makes these tapes that kind of blame people for what they did to her. But I don't think that's very realistic. I think the I forgot her name. The deaf girl in A Silent Voice. I feel like the way they portrayed it in her was a lot more realistic because a lot of the hurt and pain that she went through was behind the scenes and it wasn't really like prevalent. Even when she was getting bullied, she put on that smile and everything. And I feel like it was just a lot more realistic. And because of that, you can connect to it that much more. So I really, really, really enjoyed the film for its storyline. I think it's one of the best I've ever seen.
The girl's name is Shoko Nishimiya.
There you go.
Nishimiya. My bad.
Shoko.
So Shoko.
I just feel like it's very realistic and it's very relatable and it really pulls at your feelings. Like even if you have a cold, black, dark heart.
That Nauka girl's a bitch.
I have one.
Oh my gosh, I hate her.
I don't know why she was so.
Yeah, but again, you see her change too. She's just proud.
She does.
I hated her till the last second.
Is that what do you get? Is that your review?
I give it a 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5?
Yeah.
What about you, Shawn? You can give half increments if you want to give it a 4.5. If you felt like there was something that was wrong.
No, I thought it was perfect.
Okay.
Me too.
I liked the suicide. There's 2 instances of suicide. Both of them are handled with brevity, which I found interesting. Well, the second one was much more major, but every ounce of what happened in that movie is something that I've seen. I've seen people or been very close to people that have either succeeded or attempted suicide, that have been bullied, that have been deaf. These are all memories that we've all had of school in some way, shape, or form. Maybe we were the bullies, maybe we were the bullied.
Or even the
The whole
bystanders.
point, yeah. And the thing about it is, the bullying is is a plot device. The suicide is a plot device. The whole thing is the journey from when you fall to picking yourself back up and redeeming yourself. And it's not redeeming yourself in other people's eyes, but learning to forgive yourself. Because this kid, it finally sinks in. Because, I mean, he's afraid, he doesn't understand, he's lashing out. And I was one of those kids that when somebody did not respond with anger to something that I did that should have made them angry, it made me more angry. But I was one of the bullied. I was on the other side of the fence, but I was like him. You know, and I know that feeling of that person should be angry. I just broke this or I just did that, when you're lashing out for whatever reason. Now, we don't know why he was lashing out, because it was probably just, you know, in middle school hormones. But he lashed out at her and he did all this horrible stuff, and they kind of coached him on. And then when the tables were turned and he lost everything, like it crushed him, it destroyed him, and I fully believe that he had PTSD. He at the very least he had some sort of minor version of it. Now, PTSD, as far as I understand, you can't you can't clean that, you just cope with it. But he had some sort of severe psychosis, to the point where after a few years of this continuing, and he's gone into high school now, and he's got a job, and his sister's helping raise the household, he puts together enough money to pay for the 4 or 5 hearing aids, which are probably about $800 to $1,300 a piece. You know, in Japan, he worked all that time to pay his sister back for paying for those devices, and then he was going to kill himself. He was going to throw himself because he didn't see any worth in himself. But the thing is the whole time he's doing that, he's learning sign. He's already started trying to do something better than what he has been. And then when he sees her, he's able to do some communication, and he's drawn to her. And the reason that he's drawn to her isn't romance. It's because she's the one that needs to forgive him. But she forgave him the moment he was nice to her.
Yeah.
The moment he started talking to her in sign, it was the moment he gave her the book back. Because before then she was curious. When he gives her the book back, that's when she forgave him. The rest of the movie is him learning to forgive himself, to let go of the doubt of his self-worth, to, you know, learn to trust himself and feel again, you know. But then you start getting another story told of her own redemption, not from him, but just letting go of her guilt, because she has nothing to feel guilty for, but she feels guilty for all these things. Then she falls in love with him, and you end up having this whole situation of, well, she's in love with him, but his interaction with her seems to cause him pain. And he is the first thing that she has cared deeply about besides her family. And it's that, you remember the hormones of that period of time when all the feelings come rushing through, and finally she's like, the world would be better off without me. And then that moment happens. So the whole point being redemption, the way it was shot, the art style, it was extremely clean. It was very, very well done. They weren't overly detailed. They were simple designs, but they were still very expressive. And sometimes it was just small facial expressions. The dialogue, everything was just extremely well thought out. I quite literally only have that one complaint. Share that with you, and I barely. That's the date movie moment where, you know, the running, the part that doesn't make any fucking sense. The doctor that goes running through the hallway on a skateboard or some bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, that one part kind of sticks out, but at the very end, when he forgives himself and she forgives herself and they forgive each other again, you know, like when it comes to the point where they let it go and they're free. And that was the point of the story. The romance, the PTSD, everything else, it's all a backseat, because the psychoses ran so deep with him that it complicated him making friends. It complicated his functioning through life. He tried to kill himself. But what I want to make clear is that his romantic feelings existed separate from his guilt feelings. Like, he was not hanging out with her just because he wanted her to forgive him. He was around her. That was part of his motivation. That was not the entire motivation. He was also there because he genuinely felt safe around her. He felt comfortable with her. He really, truly enjoyed her company. So 50% of his motivation was he legit actually liked her. But the other 50% was she was his path to redemption.
Yeah.
That's how and I don't know if he understood. I know that he wanted to make up, but I don't think he felt that he ever would make up. I just think that he kind of resigned himself to, well, I'm not going to kill myself. I should spend the rest of my free time, whatever time I have, giving it to her because she deserves it. I don't think it was a lot of conscious effort on his part. I think he was genuinely trying to do right by her, bring her around to people, kind of make up for his sins, but I don't think he ever thought he would redeem himself. I think it was as far as he was concerned, it was a constant uphill climb. So it was perfect. There's very few anime movies that I've seen that are perfect, and just in every possible angle. Very few slice of life dramas, very few anything. Perfect Blue was an excellent thriller. I'd never seen an anime film handle the thriller in that Hitchcockian level like they did in Perfect Blue. That was genius. And this was perfect. And thank fucking God it wasn't Your Lie in April, which was also perfect. But that will rip out your heart and stomp on it for the rest of time. I'm still grieving. Like, when Kyle suggested, dude, you need to watch this movie, I was like, again, and he told me who the director was, who's directed other things that I deeply care about. And then he's like, you need to watch this movie. And I'm like, all right, I'll watch this movie. And he's like, it's kind of a sad tragedy. I'm like, nope, done. No. And he's like, no, you just got to. I'm like, all right, I'll consider it. And then when I was going to watch it, I texted him, I'm like, motherfucker, if this is another Your Lie in April, I'm done. And he's like, relax. And I was like, okay.
Shawn, I don't know if, did I really tell you about the director? Because the director is Naoka Yamada, and he did the K-On! Series and Tamako Market. That's what he directed.
Was it the producer
No
then?
way, really?
Yeah, straight up. Who do you think? Because it's not Makoto Shinkai, if that's who you think it is.
You had said that it was the same guy that did God, what the fucking one with the science, the Supernatural.
Steins
No,
Gate?
I did not say it was. No, I did not say it was Your Name, or the same dude that said Your Name. You think that's what you're thinking of, right? Have you seen Your Name?
Yeah,
No,
that's what I could have sworn you said.
Oh, I don't think so. Yeah, that's Makoto Shinkai. That's who does that. I said it.
Mm-hmm.
I said it.
Yeah.
I said it looks like his films because of the way they do it. The backgrounds are very well designed, but Kyoto does that as well. Kyoto Animation did that. But no, this was directed by the same dude that's directed K-On! And Tamako Market, which are both.
You know what else made the movie unique, though? I just thought of this: is the entire focus of the film is on the younger cast. You never get the perspective of an adult. It's always from their perspective. The universe they live in has other people surrounding it, younger siblings, older siblings, parents, but they're never on film. The only adults you see on film is the teacher, the mother and the sister. That's it.
Yeah, even
You
the sister
never
was
see-
barely. I don't think do you.
Yeah,
see the
you
sister
never
once?
see any other adults. And think about back in high school, your entire world, your parents were floating around on the top and you had to deal with them, but they were more like overlords. Your whole world, everything that your thoughts ran around was your friends at school, the girls you were interested in, the video games you wanted to play. It was that kind of shit. That was your whole fucking world. So when that whole fucking world vanishes on him, he has nothing. He loves his family, but he doesn't relate to them. That's, I think, what struck me is this film's attention to detail.
Okay.
That was something I wanted to bring up to you a week ago, is that it's a very nuclear world. It's very focused. There's only a handful of people that exist in this story, and everyone else doesn't have a face. It's just these people.
But
This is the
access.
whole universe as he knows it. No, I'm not even talking about the exes, man. I mean, this is the universe as he knows it. When he goes up and he buys a soda, when he walks up to somebody who's serving something, it's very rare that you see other characters except for floating by in the background with little detail.
Yeah.
Like everything is focused on these people. There's nothing that happens outside of them.
Yeah.
It's very deliberate is what I'm trying to say. Everything from the camera angles to the conversation pieces to any tertiary characters that step into the story. You know, it's very, very deliberate who they are, how much you see them, and the rest of the time, they're the only people that are involved or the people he recognizes in his world. And then beyond that, you have the X's. But the X's are, again, not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just in general.
I apologize.
You know, because you notice when he was in middle school, there was all these kids. But then when he's in high school, how often did the camera linger on anyone else besides him?
Yeah. Earlier I said that the director was a male. That was incorrect. It is a female. So this is a female.
She is it.
Naoka Yamada is a girl, and she directed K-On! And Tamako Market. I didn't know the director of K-On! Was a female. So that's pretty cool. But yeah.
It's genius. So, you fuckers that are listening, all 1.5 of you, go fucking just watch the movie. I really don't give a fuck if you steal it. Just buy it later. We're done. Buy the shit.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to buy it.
It's good. I recommend it. I think you'll like it. Even if you don't like anime, I'd say give it a try. Just give it a... Yeah, again.
Definitely. If it tugs at your heart, then it succeeded.
I think so.
Yep.
So, Shawn, what's ranking? As you know, you said it perfect, so it's a 5 out of 5 for you?
I'd give it a 10 out of 5. It's flawless, well, nearly flawless. A 9 out of 5.
Okay, cool. All right. So that was our thoughts on the review. Real quick, that thing. Actually, let's leave that for the viewers. Let's not touch that. I think we did a good job of talking about it. I thought it was really good. Now, I know something. That little black girl, was she not the most adorable fucking thing?
Yes.
She was so
his
cute.
Sister?
Yeah, well, his sister's daughter.
His niece.
His
young girl.
Sister's daughter, yeah, his niece.
She was so cute.
Oh my god, yeah.
God, she was adorable.
All right, now come on, tell me, you guys knew that kid was a girl, right? Like I wasn't the only one.
I knew it was a girl. Her name was Mai, wasn't it?
I think
Maya?
so, but it was the voice.
Yeah. She was adorable. She was so awesome. So yeah, good movie. If you have any interest, check it out. Again, you can get it on Blu-ray. And if I don't know if they have a legal way of streaming it, but there is an illegal option.
And if you like that movie, which you will, and it really, really feels right, then go and watch Your Lie in April and Prepare to Grieve for like 10 years.
Yeah, Your Lie in April was expertly done.
It's equally, it is the same level of good, just it goes even deeper.
Cool.
Just a bit of a side
And
track.
it uses music, which is the whole fucking reason why I watched it. Like anything that uses music as a story vehicle, I watch.
All right, what are you going to say, Ken?
Just a bit of a sidetrack.
Look up in the mic when you talk. Thanks, bud.
Midoriya, today is his birthday.
Oh, Deku!
Deku!
It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Deku.
Really, it is.
For all you don't know, that's the main character from Boku no Hero or My Hero Academy.
Oh,
yeah,
birthday.
It's his birthday today. That's cool.
Happy birthday, you fictional lug, you.
One last thing, and then we'll continue on to the news articles. We're at an hour 30 in. I knew we were gonna go over, but we still got time. We're good. I thought one last thing I think they did very well was the way they, like how you're saying, how they showed his world. I thought the whole thing with the X's that they did was very cool, of how they would fall off when he thought he made a friend, and then when the shit happened that happened later, some of those X's immediately went back on. And he got to the point where he was even talking like the girl, the bitch. He would talk to her while she had the X on his face. So that was the way they represented how he viewed his world, I thought was really cool. The way that he would he basically effectively, through the bullying that he went through, became like Nishiomiya, because he silenced himself from the world. And they represent that. He showed him cupping his ears, and near the end, when he was at the festival, before the other stuff, or not when he was at the festival with everyone, and he finally like looked up,
he burst into tears,
and he started crying. That was really strong as well. that he's finally
Yeah,
been
if you
able.
don't cry during this movie, you don't have a soul, and you kick puppies for a living.
Yeah, it's there's a
You
lot
don't
of
cry through
very
this movie. You are an inhuman monster.
there's a lot of very powerful moments in this film. So I
Now
definitely
you guys watch, dude. Jonathan's gonna watch that and intentionally not cry through the entire fucking thing, just so he can take the inhuman monster crown.
Yeah, I cried. I cried a couple times. I was feeling it. Well, our mom cried too. So I was talking to her about it, and she liked it a lot as well. So, okay, now we're gonna get on to our news.
Wait, what?
So we're gonna blow through the news. I'm gonna read it quick.
Shotgun it.
I'm
Go.
gonna present it to you guys. We'll give like everyone a sentence to talk about what they think, and then we'll move on. We're not gonna
Alright.
spend any time on the news. I'm just gonna get it out there so the people listening are up to date if this is how they actually get their news. If they're I don't fucking know. I'm doing it because I can.
I promise.
All right,
they
ready?
don't.
What sentence? Go.
No, one sentence is
Shotgun.
Let me read it first, boy.
Well, I know. I'm reminding
Okay,
everyone.
I'm just gonna give. So basically, so we have the Splatoon 2 limited time demo. Will go live on the 15th, which is today. So it should be. It should be live for a bit. It's basically their first Splatfest for Splatoon 2, and it's Team Cake versus Team Ice Cream. They did a bit in Splatoon 1. It's basically the community will band against each other, and wins in games. And once you're assigned to a team, will give you a percentage, and whoever wins. I guess it's just a thing to bring the community together. So it went live on the 15th. It's their first Splatfest. They've done a demo before, but yeah. So Splatoon 2 is coming soon. It comes July. Ooh boy, when does Splatoon 2 come out? July 21st it releases, so we got about a week. So that's exciting. The Switch getting some games. The first Splatoon was cool. Yeah, that's about it. We're going to move on to our next article. I'm going to
right.
shotgun through. So, these are recently, we talked about a little bit about Final Fantasy earlier. Recently, Final Fantasy has been getting hit with DDoS attacks on their servers.
Really?
Yes. So this is basically the DDoS attacks against Final Fantasy 14 have been contained. So they've been...
Managing
That
them.
was like a week ago.
Yeah. They got the help of ISPs. I don't know what that means exactly, but
Internet service providers.
yeah, I guess. So they had a lot of
I guess that's exactly what it means.
So they had been marred. They had a lot of connectivity issues because of the DDoSes, and they've been having problems. DDoS stands for it's a denial of service attack. I think it's distributed denial of service. So basically, the services can't they can't connect to your what do you do?
You have thousands of requests
Adjusting.
placed on the server, basically an overflow of traffic, and it shuts the server down. It can't handle it, and it turns off.
Yeah, so the attack started since July. The attacks have shifted away from the Final Fantasy servers, and the target has changed to focus on the upper tier internet service providers that are required to connect to the data center. The company wrote, these attacks to the upper tier ISP networks are causing lapses in communication to the game server, giving rise to instant disconnects during logins. So I actually had that happen when I was trying to switch game centers. That happened once, but then again, it's not a huge thing. But yeah, so that's that. They appear to be under control now, though. So if you do play Final Fantasy 14 and you've been having issues, I'd go ahead and give it another try and get back into that wonderful game. That game is really good. The music in it's fantastic, too. That's just Final Fantasy. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next article, which is they have recently made the Oculus Rift and controller bundle will now permanently be the same price as the PSVR bundle. So it's $500. Right now it's $400 for limited time. Now this is the VR set that you can use for your computer. And so they're trying to make it more accessible. We've talked about before that Shawn has presented that the best way that they could do this is take a hit on the equipment to get the things out there so that there's more VR sets out. So this is the Oculus Rift and the Oculus Touch will be available. And the price has been permanently reduced to $500. So
it's a better piece of equipment than the PlayStation VR.
Oh, yeah,
I'll give
definitely.
It that. I still wouldn't fucking buy the damn thing. The Vive is even stronger, but it just doesn't have software support.
That's $800 at that point. So
yeah,
you'll be dropping quite a hefty.
Who out there that is a AAA fucking game maker is making anything for the Vive? Nobody's fucking doing shit. I mean, it's a nice piece of hardware, but it's not being used on anything. I don't know anyone that's fucking using it. I've never met anyone that even bothered. And I know people that have money, and they bought the Oculus and they bought the Sony, but they haven't touched anything else. The fucking Samsung's just a toy.
Yeah. So that's that. Again, we're just dropping these articles real quick, give you guys some information before we...
Wait, really quick. Do you guys ever think that Apple's going to jump on the bandwagon of VR or no?
I mean, maybe for like a
There's a big
phone,
market
maybe like a
for it.
phone thing that you like how the Samsung.
Augmented reality?
Apple doesn't do gimmicks like. I mean, they do gimmicks, but not like
No,
that.
Apple's all about fucking
Okay.
gimmicks. and then suing
Yeah,
people.
but their gimmicks are all like super functional in everyday life, and VR, as of yet, doesn't have that kind of functionality. And Apple, I mean, they may make a toy, but the toy's got to be able to do some really cool shit, not like allow you to walk down a street in Osaka and look around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just don't see Apple getting into that. And plus, they were talking about doing a gaming system, but they gave up on it a while ago. I remember seeing the prototype.
I can't imagine the price.
So,
$1 million.
moving on to the next article, we have after the Halo movie fell apart, the director still wants another shot.
Yes,
So,
please,
so
please,
No.
please,
Now,
Now,
please.
wait, listen. This was the original Halo movie that we heard about a long time ago, around the time Halo
Talking
3
about,
came out. That was being produced by Peter Jackson.
Peter
It was
Jackson,
many years ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember talking about it.
Yeah, the director was Neil Blomkamp, and he still, even after they did not get the funding from Microsoft, they still want another chance. He's spoken up saying that he's still a big fan, but he still hasn't been asked to do a movie, basically. He's opened the idea of coming back if Microsoft asks. He says he loves Halo, which he was recently asked in a Reddit AMA, but he says that he loves Halo, and he wants to make it in a movie. He loves the world, he loves Master Chiefs, he loves the colonies, he loves the Flood and the Covenant. So he wants to be a part of this, basically this thing. And the only problem is that the Halo franchise director, Frank O'Connor, has responded to his comments saying that Microsoft would be delighted to team up with him again. So...
Wait, with
I
which
still don't
director?
understand what the fucking why the shit fit in the first place. I don't see why it fell apart.
wasn't it because...
There's a reason
wasn't
why
it because
video
Bungie...
game movies don't work.
That's because they're
There's
not
a
made well.
reason.
Halo might,
No.
but Halo might be that one that changes it. You never know.
Hey, no, Street Fighter Assassin's Fist worked extremely well. As a matter of fact, it stuck to the canon perfectly, except for one tiny area. The rest of it was a love note to people who like video game movies, who like video games, and like Street Fighter. You want to see something that is an excellent video game movie and worked with a micro budget and did extremely well and stuck to the canon, didn't fuck it up at all. Street Fighter Assassin's Fist is good. I haven't seen the sequel yet, which takes place during the first tournament, but the Assassin's Fist was fucking amazing.
Okay, cool. And then a little bit... It says, while the Halo movie might not be happening anytime soon, Microsoft is working with Steven Spielberg on a TV show for Halo. However,
Fuck that.
it's been a very long time since they've heard anything about it, so we don't
So,
know.
would you guys rather have a movie or a TV show?
A movie.
Movie.
Movies get more budget.
There's no
Do they
fucking
really?
way
I thought
they'll
it was the
have
other way around.
the budget for a TV show.
I thought it was the other way around, that TV shows get more budget than movies.
No.
I guess it depends on the movie.
I guess.
TV shows get money.
Sitting back, like chilling.
TV shows get money based on their season.
Huh.
So like, do you have 12 episodes, and normally like TV shows do the same exact stuff like over and over again because it's the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Like if it's a TV show, you're using same sets, same stuff. But if it's a movie,
Okay, I get
see
it.
where I'm coming from?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
no, I get
using
it.
a lot more stuff on a movie.
A lot of time they try and keep stuff practical in film. Oh, it depends on the film. It depends on the director, really, how much money. And usually they look at their budget when they start spending. So,
Yeah, true.
but yeah, so that's that. Moving on to the next article, we have the Destiny 2 beta and all the known issues with it so far. So they have
Wait,
released...
they opened the beta?
No, it's not open yet.
Okay.
But for media recording, they do have beta codes for early access before the beta pre-order thing starts. So before the 18th, you could get like a week earlier, and that's for media recording. So they could record, and then the moment that the embargo drops, all these websites can start uploading videos or have videos there right away the day that it drops because they've had prior access to it.
Okay.
So
But they can't put anything up
no,
prior.
there's an embargo usually.
Okay.
But they're reporting, so you can't like show gameplay and stuff like that early. But this is reported issues of it. Basically, this is Eddie Macic of GameSpot. I haven't been saying. I need to say who writes them because we could get messed up for copyright infringement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is actually Bungie has provided a list of all the known issues for Destiny 2's upcoming beta. Interesting. So we have some of the issues that will impact the gameplay. You might get kicked to orbit when entering a countdown match in Crucible. Also, you might experience a number of network error codes, while players could be placed at the start of the inverted Spire Strike when joining in progress instead of catching up with their friends. Another thing to note is that not all of Destiny 2's content will be available in all supported languages. You can see all of their known issues on their website where they posted, and players run into the problem. There is a help forum. The beta kicks off on the 18th. It is available for preload. And the beta size on PS4 is 15 gigs and 12.8 on Xbox One. The beta
I'm gonna have to.
the beta will be coming to PC as well, but
you don't even play video games anymore.
Because I don't have space on my PS4, and that's the reason why I don't have.
You don't need the space. When's the last time you turned it on?
Damn.
Today.
Lies and subterfuge.
Oh my god.
So it will be coming to PC as well, but not until August. And yeah, we talked about the beta before. What will be available? We have the strike. I don't know if they'll have a patrol available like they did in the first Destiny beta, which was Earth. You got Earth's patrol, but they do have the inverted Spire Strike. They have the social area will be available 1 hour at one point. Like you can run around it. The social area won't always be available.
Really?
Yeah, because remember now the way they have it now is you.
The social area is gone pretty much.
Well, they have the farm now, which is the new one.
Okay.
Yeah, but that'll only be available for like an hour. So
how is that gonna work?
You don't have to go to the social area. They might have a patrol then. Now that I think about it, then if that's the case, because then where would you chill if you're not doing the strike, or you just have to sit on the map? I don't know, because you can still
go
in
orbit.
You can go to orbit, but the way they have it now is if you go to your map and select a different thing, you don't have to return to orbit first and then go somewhere else.
You could just go straight from there.
Straight there. It doesn't put you back in orbit.
But you can choose to just sit in orbit and chill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're not huge issues. They just have like some network connectivity, although that's always the case with betas. Usually that's their test. They're doing server tests for stress. So they're seeing how much stress they could take on the servers with a beta usually, as well as any.
Do you guys think it's going to crash?
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
The only reason I don't think so is because the PC beta will not be there. And I've heard that they've already sold like 2 million copies, or they've had 2 million copies up for pre-order just on the PC alone.
Jesus.
So crazy shit. So let's go ahead and move on to the next article. I see Caitlyn on the Google Doc. So this is I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna read the article, but Ni no Kuni 2 has been delayed. Sadly, that is the Ghibli-esque style JRPG coming to PS4 and PC.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
So
they need to bring the first one back. In HD. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
An HD remake.
It'd be cool if they pulled like a Bayonetta, where like they released the second one and the first one in like a bundle that you could get, but like the first one was HD. That'd be cool. But yeah, it's been pushed to January 19th of 2018, where it was November 17th of 2017. So it's been pushed back a couple months.
Not too bad.
Well, I mean, it's like what?
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
So the developer has stated an apology, and they're getting extra time to deliver the full Ni no Kuni 2 experience. They always say that shit. But I deeply apologize. Those have been looking forward to the game's release. Please rest assured, however, we will still continue to strive to provide a deep and satisfying single-player experience that our fans can look forward to, he added. Who added that was Akihiro Hino, which is the chief executive of the game developer Level 5. So yeah. That sucks. But I'm looking forward to it still. I'm excited. It just kind of moves it away from the other big games that will be coming out. So
yeah.
I'll have it in January when everything that's come out in fall has already been touched and done with. And
you
then
think
I
they
have
did that on
something
purpose?
That it's possible because they've done stuff like that before.
That is a good point that you brought up.
Yeah, because I haven't heard of anything that we have coming in January, at least not currently.
Yeah, true.
So they might be trying to get in an open spot so it gets more attention to it. Especially since JRPGs some don't get as much attention as some of the other releases, sadly. So we're going to go on to the next article. See, it's only been like, 15 minutes? We're doing pretty good. We only got a couple left. We have Overwatch's new PTR update has a big Zarya change. This is Timur Hussein of GameSpot. and this is No Escape. I've heard this. I'm not going to read the article, but basically, they've changed. They're changing some characters. So Doomfist has been changed a little bit. His rocket punch, which is his lateral forward dive thing, the total distance traveled has been reduced by 20%.
Damn.
His seismic slam has a new UI indicator that shows how much damage it will deal. Because the farther it travels, that's just like slam down that knocks people out. The farther it travels, it will do more damage.
So if you get someone on the edge of that will deal the most damage.
Yeah. So, and also targeting the ability while in the air has been now restricted to locations lower than your current height. So I've seen people if they look up and do it, they could elevate themselves, but that's not the idea. You're supposed to be going down. So they use it to move around the map faster. McCree's flashbang now slows targets significantly when they are stunned.
God damn
And this
it.
makes them less likely to slide away around a corner or something similar once they are stunned. So, Reaper's Shadow Step, the virtual or visual, VO and sound effects distance have been dramatically reduced, so you can't...
Video, audio?
No, it's VO.
Video, VO.
Oh
Audio. Audio.
Man. So you know how he's repositioning or whatever
Yeah.
he says? That you could hear that shit from
Across
so
the map.
far away.
Yeah.
They've reduced the range at which you could hear it.
Yeah, because the second you heard that, you look around the map and look for the black smoke.
Yeah. So then you'd find him pretty easily because he sits there for a second while he's being edgy. RainShard
Swammer.
hammer swing speed has been increased by 10%.
Yeah.
And on top of the
All
swing,
right.
the speed will increase. They've tweaked it basically. It should feel a lot better to swing and make contact with enemies, basically.
Yeah.
The charge impacting another charging hero, such as Doomfist or RainShard, will no longer deal damage to both characters, but will still cause a knockdown on both.
Okay,
And
that's
then the
good.
biggest change is Zarya's Graviton Surge will now disable all movement abilities of affected targets.
So they can't even look around?
Well, they could look around, but you know how Junkrat, when you get stuck in his trap, you can't use any abilities that would move you? That's what Zarya's ultimate does now. So if Tracer tries to blink out, she can't do that.
And Genji can't
Genji can't dash out. Pharah can't rocket jump up.
RainShard can't
RainShard
charge forward.
charge forward. So if you're stuck in it, you
You're fucked.
might as well spread the ass cheeks. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Recently on July 12th, Blizzard made progression for Doomfist available, so you could see all his skins online.
Wait, really quick. I talked to someone, so it's kind of going to add on to the last podcast really quick. I talked to someone at work who came over and set up this laser tag thing for the kids that he got onto the beta testing for Doomfist, and he says that it's 2 hits.
Yeah,
Like
they do
healers.
a shitload of damage. Yeah.
2 healers. It's
Yeah, I was watching. There's this dude that just plays Genji. Is really good. It's top 500 on PC, and his name's Seagull. He was playing Doomfist and just all over the fucking place. It's insane.
oh, damn.
So yeah,
Is he out yet?
Doomfist?
Yeah.
No, he's not out yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's still on PTR. Should be getting him soon.
Okay.
Excited.
I plan on cosplaying him next year. I gotta get buff and shave my head.
Do a pull One Punch Man.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to the next article. We got a couple more, and we'll be done. This is Alessandro Filari from GameSpot, and so Warframe is trying to expand to open world gameplay.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that game is gonna be fun.
I like it.
So in addition to new story expansion, bringing a new narrative questline centered around special gear that was once inaccessible to Western players, the developer has debuted a live demo of their most ambitious expansion to date. So open exploration will be coming to the Plains of Eidolon update, both set to release this year. Live Ops and community producer Rebecca Ford spoke with GameSpot about the growth. Now you guys know. It's
All
always
right.
GameSpot. About the growth Warframe's seen over the years and what players can expect in the future from the increasingly popular free-to-play title. So, yeah, they're working on an update. We're going to get some new story. Maybe a new Warframe will drop.
That'd be exciting.
Yeah. Maybe one time we'll eventually go back to that at one point. I have it downloaded.
I'm fully willing to put more money into that game if we're playing it.
Yeah, we got to finish building our dojo. So,
Dude, you don't understand, dude. I must have dropped like $30 just buying us credits so we could work on the dojo.
yeah, I think I probably around that price too, $30-$40. All right, so we got 2 more articles. This one is Nier Automata's creator shares his favorite PS4 games. Yoko Taro gives his thoughts on some of his favorite titles to come out on the PS4. This is Alex Newhouse of GameSpot. So they basically interviewed him, and it was listed on PlayStation Blog. It's clear that he definitely prefers adventure games and RPGs. Horizon Zero Dawn and Final Fantasy 15 are the two biggest games on the list, while he's also a fan of titles like Gravity Rush 2 and The Last Guardian. The Danganronpa series of visual novels also appears in his top 7, and he cites its cinematography and the great tempo as reasons for his appreciation of it. He also added, I go out to drink with the scenario writer Kazutaka Kodaka once in a while too. But when I saw his piercing eyes that appear as though he doesn't trust anyone around him, I thought, he does seem like the person that would create a mad game like Danganronpa. Rounding out the list are also the 2D shooter Resogun and the episodic game Strange of Life. Strange of Life. Strange of Life.
Wait, what did you?
Wow,
you mean Life
English
is
much?
Strange?
Life is Strange.
Oh my God.
Jesus. Taro lauded Life is Strange. Life is Strange's graphical fidelity and narrative tone. He also lamented the fact that the developer Don't Nod's previous game, Remember Me, hasn't been localized in Japan yet. So yeah, those are some of his games. In May of this year, Nier Automata crossed 1.5 million units shipped. In addition,
I ordered it.
Oh, you did?
Sorry.
Yeet.
Yeah, I ordered it and the soundtrack. The soundtrack came back in stock.
Oh, it's so
I got
good.
the soundtrack. Guess how much I paid for the
soundtrack.
soundtrack? You ready to kick yourself in the testicle?
How much?
$20.
Wow.
I paid what, 40?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
It also
$22 actually.
In addition, it also received the Bizarre DLC where you fight the CEO of publisher Square Enix. It received that earlier this year. Well, you also got some costumes for the characters. So we got one more article. We're going to go through real quick, and then we're going to get into our main topic, which this week we will be talking about sex in video games. Not literally sex in video games, but sex appeal, female characters being sexualized.
Oh no.
Escapism, the male power fantasy, stuff like that. We'll go over that. We'll give
Female power fantasies too, the whole nine, like all aspects.
We're gonna try and keep ourselves in the middle when we talk about it. We're not about political correctness or none of that bullshit. So we're gonna be pretty upfront about that. But I'm saying no. Yeah. I'm saying from our standpoint, we're gonna try and represent both genders. I have my sister here as well, and or Caitlyn on her phone. So
I was waiting for you to stop.
Yeah.
Now we're here.
She's gonna. So we're gonna get opinions from both genders of what we think about it. But let me go one more. I'm gonna just have one more news article, and this is gonna be real quick. This is Battlefront 2, the beta for it. When we'll be seeing that, the beta will run from October 6th to 9th, and will let players take part in the galactic assault on Nebula.
Galactical.
I'm sorry, I had to read very fast to get through all that, so we can get to our main topic. So, 2 hours in, we're starting our main topic. So,
Really?
yeah.
Damn.
But again, it was going to be a really packed episode. I have no fear of it running over. We're going to spend a decent amount of time on this topic. I want everyone to get their opinions too. I want you guys out there
So like a good 30 minutes.
to hear where we're coming from in this topic. So, we're going to start with let's start with the male side. So, what the male
Ladies first. God.
Yeah.
Chivalry is dead in
Chivalry.
this.
Chivalry.
Of
Is
course,
that how you
on the
pronounce
other
it?
hand,
Chivalry.
if you're going to
I
go
can't pronounce
fully
ours.
equal, it doesn't really matter who goes first.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who goes
Chivalry.
first. So let's okay.
You guys go
What's an thanks. So what's an example? Let's talk about.
Well, I think her
let
perspective
Shawn
is
talk.
going to have a bit more punch than ours.
Okay, so Caitlyn, when you see, say, like, we just talked about.
No, I think she should go. I think she should
I'm
go
giving her-
last. I think.
Last?
Hers is going to have the most gravity. Yeah, because hers is going to have the most gravity. First of all, she's the minority in our group at the moment, and second of all, even though women are seen as a minority in gaming, they really aren't anymore. But she's going to be the freshest perspective because a lot of what we have to say in it, we've said 45% of it in past episodes. It's just going to be in a much more conducive bucket manner.
And none of us can speak tonight. So
Yeah, it's fucking contagious, you ass.
So I want to start with.
Sorry.
I'm not going to deny. Oh my God! What happened?
I have one word, futaba.
What? Futaba.
No!
One word, futaba.
Oh,
Makoto.
Futaba. Well, why are we on this?
No, dude. I'm Makoto. Yeah, you and me, girl. Makoto, straight up.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Before he does anything, he's got his futaba.
What
I'm
about
just
it?
saying. You and your waifu, Holmes.
What does that have to do with what we're talking about? Okay. What? I'm gonna
Sex
say.
appeal in video games, dude. You wanted to bang her so hard your dick almost fell off.
Yeah, but it's not like. Well, I guess she did have the one scene where she was in her bathing suit, but even then she had the towel over her head. Do you remember that shit?
yeah.
That shit was funny as fuck.
Wait, who was it really quick?
Futaba.
No, stop.
Oh no.
The one with the
Anti's
glasses.
on his iPad.
I already got it.
Anti's on his iPad.
Oh God.
So the first
Take
thing I
it
want.
away from him.
We
He's
should
gonna get us
he's a
all killed
grown
one day.
man.
You watch. He's gonna pull up a picture with tits that are so large that they'll pop out and kill us.
So
Reality will break because of something he finds on the internet.
Death by tits?
I'll
take it.
I want to start by saying, although we do tend to be a bit more immature, that I want to fully recognize that there is in a lot of cases there is the over sexualization of female characters in both Western media and even Eastern, like Japanese. I'm thinking about the video game. So like video games, the main two producers that are like huge producing countries is the U.S. and Japan, that massively produce games that we see a lot of. And in both markets, you do see an over sexualization of characters. Now, again, it is a generalization. There's always going to be outliers to statements, but you do. I think you see it a bit more in Japanese culture than you do see it in American culture when it comes to video games.
It's more.
I disagree.
It's like more prominent.
Again, it's a generalization, but if you go to now again with generalization, it's like it involves stereotypes, all that other shit. But if you go to talk to someone about Japanese media and you ask them a question, depending on where they're coming from, they'll either say like, again, it's fucking weird.
They're more overt with it, man, but I don't think they do it more.
But also, if you look at their culture, they don't treat nudity, although it's censored. They don't treat nudity as like in their social life as bad as we do, because they have like you're like openly naked in bathhouses and stuff like that.
Recently, they've been taking steps backwards.
Yeah, I mean, not in their media, but in their like their social life, like how the fact that they have, with like if you look at the way they bathe like publicly, everyone's naked in those bathhouses.
Are not same sex.
No, they're not. Well, they are same sex. They're not co-ed.
No, co-ed is what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not co-ed.
God damn, your Yodaing words is fucking rubbing off, dude.
I'm sorry, but they treat like nudity, at least in social situations, not as heavily as we do. Like you won't. It'd be weird for someone from the United States to go to a bathhouse in Japan because they're like, holy shit, there's everyone here's naked and we're all bathing.
And you're sharing dirty water with naked dudes.
Well, you wash yourself before you sit in the water, but yeah.
I'm just saying that's the first thing that came to my mind was like, no, I'm with naked dudes. No, I don't give a fuck about that part. The fact that the first thing that comes into my head is like this. I'm sharing dick water. Yeah. I don't care the fact that you're naked, but I'm touching the same water your penis just swam through. Like,
so wait,
I don't know why that bothers me. It's a little weird for me. I don't. It's weird because I could be standing right next to a bare penis, and I'm like, oh look, it's dick, whatever. But like, I'm not gonna pick it up and fucking touch it or brush against it or share water with it.
Beautiful.
So technically, you're touching
I'm not
penises.
that bad, but
yeah, you're indirectly. You know how they have indirect kisses in anime? Your penises are indirectly kissing.
Stop.
Oh yeah,
your penises are indirectly kissing.
That's what it's all
That's
about.
what it is. It's tears from the tip of my penis.
You're having an indirect sword fight with someone.
Oh God. Yeah, no, I guess it's really not. I'm actually I don't want to swim in dirty water, and I always thought that the bath thing, yeah, you sit there and you dump a bucket over your head, but how much are you legit washing off? Like, you have some funk on your balls, and then I get in the tub with you, and we're talking, and the funk crawls off of your balls.
That's what they show in anime, but that's after they've washed themselves with soap. Like they'll sit there and clean like every orifice of them. Well, not every orifice. They don't. Well, they'll clean themselves off. They scrub their balls, Shawn, and then they dump the water on themselves to get the suds off, and then they sit in the water because they think it's good for your skin. Why are we on High School of the Dead over there? Whatever. I'm not.
It's a perfect example.
Every time
It's a perfect example.
I'm talking about video games.
I'm talking about games. But it is everywhere, though. So
Yeah, I mean, you see it.
anime.
You see it often, and the thing about it is the way news is and the way we hear things. Say they
That was me acting in ignorance. And you're right. I think I have seen that in dramas before, where they actually did go full wash.
No,
Or
they
at
do
least
wash.
implied it.
They do. They don't sit in the. They're also very clean. If you look at their country in general, they're very clean people. They won't. You'd get fucked and you get fucked. You'd get yelled at if you went and sat in the pool without washing yourself first. You have to wash your body first. You get the suds off, and then you go and sit in the water because it's good for your skin because it's hot. So that's what they do.
It opens your pores.
If you didn't know that, you learned something new today. So if you ever go to Japan, don't go and sit in the water.
I wouldn't do that, dude. I'm a hygiene freak.
No, I'm talking to our audience. Wait, let's get back on topic.
No, I mean, I shower twice a day minimum. Like, showering is I could not, no. If the showers died, the world would end for myself to death.
Jesus, that whole sentence was just a fucking mess to listen to. So let's get back to the topic real quick. So you do see, now the thing is it's not in just the way that they're women that are scantily clad, right? If there a lot of the times when there are games where there's like a main character that's a male, now a lot of people blame this, but it also comes back to its game design. You can't make a character that you play as and then make them inexplicably weak just because. So a lot of people go back to like the male power fantasy kind of thing where you play as a character that gets all the ladies and is super strong and can handle any situation. But it's a video game. Unless you're playing like Dark Souls or something like that. The idea is for you to be able to progress. And if they make it impossible to the point where your character is like realistically human and you're dealing with stuff like that, then it's not a fun game. The fuck's the point there?
Can you
It
expand
also
on
reflects
that?
back on comic
I don't understand.
books.
Well, we're gonna
Think about it like this,
we're gonna
right?
stick
When
with
you read
gaming.
X-Men,
We're sticking with gaming.
no, I'm just saying, like, this is a perfect example because comic books come under fire because all the guys have six packs and all the chicks are super hot.
You got a point there.
But when the comic book artists are asked about that, their response back is, okay, I'll give you that. All of our heroes, they're strong. They're, the majority of them are strong. They're fit. They're in great shape. They're attractive.
Really quick, what's that game that I always like? Just like, the fighting game.
Tekken?
No.
What
Street
fighting
Fighter?
game? Senran Kagura?
Thank you.
Oh Jesus.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah, but that's Japanese.
It's purposely done too, I think.
Yeah.
It has to be
Well,
purposely
yeah, but
done.
Why would it-
Kagura is partially. I mean, that's self-aware. I mean, it's almost satirical at times.
Yeah, that's
It
what I mean.
is,
They know they
fan
do it.
service.
Yeah. It's the whole point of it is to get your little wiener, get some blood in there. That's the idea. But going back to what Shawn said about the comic books and stuff, yeah, it is like that. But it also comes back to when you think about it, escapism and stuff. If you're in a story that's designed to be fantastical, you don't want to see characters that are dealing with the problems of having a body, like a human body. You want to see people that are in peak condition, because if they're dealing with circumstances that are fantastical, they need to have fantastical ways to deal with
Qualities.
those circumstances. Yeah, that's why all these characters have like the peak condition of their bodies. Now I could see,
Or they're just like ideally perfect in some way, shape, or form. They've got little tiny waist, six packs, ripped abs, ripped legs. If you took any of the guys from X-Men and you put them in a tough man competition, they would get injured. You see an actual well-built, strong human being, they're built like barrels. Their waist is thick. No, they are.
Thick.
Watch Tough Man
Yeah,
competition.
sure.
Watch the
Toothies.
ones where they have to drag trucks and shit. They don't have thin abdomens like Mr. Olympia. Mr. Olympia couldn't do shit. Like, he's got lots of muscles and he can lift barbells, but if you asked him to drag a truck, he couldn't fucking take it 2 feet because his waist couldn't support the weight. The guys who actually do true strength training, they get thick everywhere. They don't look fat. They're just massive.
yeah. Again,
It's not about having, I mean, the characters in the comic books are drawn like Mr. and Mrs. Olympia. They've got the supermodel good looks. They've got perfect hair. They've got all. They still have characters here and there that question their physicality. They question, things like that. That does happen, but again, it's an idealized world. That's not the strength. That's not where that art form came from. That's not what it was trying to portray. It's portraying fantasy, and in fantasy, you're typically going to have attractive characters on both sides of the fence. Does that mean that it doesn't, it's not taken to extremes? No, it is taken to extremes, and there is valid complaints against it. But I'm just saying, like, before you start, you can't have one without the other. You can't do it. You can't just erase this area of the fucking art form and still have the other. If you completely got rid of the fantastic elements, you wouldn't have the comic books and the video games anymore in the first place.
Yeah.
The point of them would be ruined. You need to have a format that allows for both. And we're moving into an era where that's happening, where you've got more female game designers, because what happened? They wanted to see change. They didn't want to erase what was out there. They wanted to add more of something that spoke to them. And now we're getting more games with different balanced characters, with characters that can be more realistic, or they're just different from the typical, like, look at her with a tiny waist and the Barbie body, like you're running into more varieties of types of characters, types of builds, appearances, backgrounds, histories, the whole nine. They're not all just eye candy anymore.
Yeah, definitely. And if you look back at, like, say, let's look at, like, Overwatch's development cycle, right? They started their characters, the first couple characters they released that were female, we got Widowmaker, we got Tracer, we got Mercy, and people were starting to complain. They're like, well, because you have all these characters, because they said when they were developing the game that it's gonna be for everyone. That's the idea. The game's for everybody. So they're like, we're gonna make characters that will represent like different countries.
Everyone can relate to.
Yes, people can relate to. And then they started putting out these characters that had that, like, thin. They had, like, the
idealistic
waist. Yeah, the idealistic idea to them, and people started to complain, and they're like, well, you're not doing what you said you're going to do. And then they start putting out, they're like, okay, fuck you. They start putting out characters like Mei. They put Zari out. Zari was the direct response to that. They introduced a female bodybuilder kind of character.
Only she wasn't a stereotype. That was my only
complaint,
because I like Zaria's character. I like her build. I like the fact that she thinks she's beautiful, even if you don't. She's fucking all about herself. I like that. She's a proud woman. She is fucking down in a big, beautiful, etc. But fucking, what is it? Russian bodybuilders and hairy French chicks. All they fucking need to do to complete the stereotype of that fucking game is bring in a French girl with a mustache, and it's fucking over.
So, but, like, the thing about it is we got those complaints, but if you look at every... Now, again, we're going to represent both sides. If you look at every male character in Overwatch, right, we see the same thing. Now, a lot of the characters that are male aren't. Some of them don't show body. But if you look at, like, Hanzo, McCree, I mean, we got Roadhog, I guess. Now that I think about it, but you didn't hear complaints come from the other side, even though a lot of these characters were. It's weird.
Well, let's be fair, man. We're conditioned. I mean, we had. When we're growing up, we have superheroes that are half naked Aryans and shit. We have one threat about the world tells us it's okay to be fat. It's okay to be Al Bundy. Okay to be lit and chubby and whatever. Now, don't get me wrong, dude. I grew up fluctuating between being super ripped and being fat as fuck. I've been all across the spectrum except for, and I did feel like I didn't look like I should look, a lot, But I think that was large just because I was sexually ostracized. And I thought if I looked at that, would be. It wasn't until later that I realized these were ruling I was in the right with. I think it's a much.
You laggy
I think it's a much different. Sorry, a different game for women than it is for us, because I think is stronger on them. But there still is a valid point to say that, like, you really, I mean, It's just we grew up with the muscle bound, you know, they grew up with Barbie, but we have much less pressure put on us to become that ideal than they do. So there is some counter. I don't really think that holds to say you didn't males not have ideals
God damn
in the game. Sorry, how much did you miss?
I
Shawn.
couldn't really understand any of what you just said.
Me neither. Neither could anyone else in the fucking.
Okay,
Shawn,
am I clear now?
Shawn, what we're gonna do? Sit there.
Do not hang up.
Don't hang up.
We
first
did
of
this
all.
last time.
No. Sit there, and give a condense for right now. Type a condensed form of what you just said.
Wait, just talk a sentence though. You're starting to sound better.
Yeah.
But he had moments where he'd sound better, and then it just go to shit. It's because it's Discord.
Okay, this is my point.
He sounds perfect right now.
Okay, so this is my point. Now, you mentioned that there wasn't as much pushback from the male community about the physiques of the male characters. This is why. All right? Growing up, we have all these idealized images of dudes in our superhero stuff and our video games and so on. But there's not nearly as much pressure on us to become those. Now, when I was growing up, did I feel like I didn't look like, you know, the you know, Josh Hartnett or these different actors that are, oh, I don't know why I'm fucking mentioning him, but all these good looking actors that are out there, like, yeah, you know, I wish I looked like fucking, you know, Ryan Reynolds. I wanted to look like LL Cool J with his fucking six pack and his delicious lips. I wanted to be that way, and I didn't feel like I was attractive enough because I didn't have that ideal image. But that pressure that I felt is, I think, oftentimes much heavier on females than it is on males, because the general cultural idea is that you know, dudes are going to get fat and hairy and whatever, and that's okay. But nobody looks at a chick and goes, well, she's going to get fat and hairy, and that's okay too. That's not something that you hear. It's not something that's generally thought about. Women always have to look good. Now, again, this is a broad generalization, but that's not something that we're held as strongly to, or that we hold ourselves as strongly to. So you're not going to have as much pushback from guys. Number one, because we're not taught from birth by the media that we are supposed to look a certain way like females are. You know, again, it's a generalization, but like when I was a kid, we had fucking half naked barbarians all over the fucking place with rippling muscles, and they would lift boulders and shit. And I've never once felt like I was supposed to look like one of those. You know, that was just a fantasy to me. It was just fun, you know, but I think the pressure on females, psychologically speaking, is a little bit different. And I think, so when you're talking about there's not a lot of pushback from dudes, yes, it's true. We really don't complain when every guy in a show looks fucking hot. It's just, it is what it is. We feel shitty about it or we don't. But beyond that, you know, we don't starve ourselves trying to look a certain way. I mean, the cases of guys having bulimia or any of those eating disorders based off of body image is very rare. It's out there, but it's rare. It's not nearly as frequent as women. There's a fucking reason behind that, and it's a social one. So the pushback thing, I don't think that's a valid support, is what I'm saying.
I wasn't trying to make it a support. I was just saying it's not something that's happening, that we don't see. And again,
that's why it's not happening.
And when it comes to, let's say, characters in general, main characters in our games that we see, as we've moved forward, we have seen, not necessarily. Now I'm trying to say there's been a shift. Recently, we've seen more characters come out in media in general that have been female main characters, right? And that they've been strong. Now, the thought that I'm thinking here, the idea is that when we partake in these forms of media, that it's fantasy. We've established that, right?
Yes.
It is a situation that should not be regarded as realistic. Usually with video games, that's the case. You don't, unless you're playing like a life sim game, you're not playing a game to be like because you're trying to get away from your shitty life. Now, I know that's a little harsh. Not everyone's doing that. Some people just enjoy them. But the idea of a video game is to take yourself and remove yourself from your daily life and put yourself in a world where it's just more fantastical, where there is
or
excitement.
Or at least remove the parts you don't like.
Yeah, and there's excitement in the way things are dealt with, or the way the world is, or the elements of the world that tend to exist. But these characters should not be considered human by our standards because they exist in a world where the conditions that they've been brought in are different. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, and
I think there's a shift in paradigm too, because you have when you and I play a game, we don't want to play a character that looks like us. We don't want to play a character. We might, and again, you said earlier, you don't even want to play a character. You don't care about it reflecting you. Me, I always pick characters that reflect the way I view myself internally. So I tend to gravitate towards a specific kind of design or a specific kind of mannerisms and so forth with characters, like my first instinct when I picked up Overwatch was to pick up Reaper. And then I found out he was slow as dog shit and said, fuck that,
Is there something you're trying to tell us? Is that you're the reflection of your internal nature, Shawn?
Hey,
Reaper?
my first character was Reaper too.
I grew up a goth kid. Listen, my point is that from a dude perspective, when we pick up a game, commonly we don't want to play a guy that looks like us. We want to play a guy that reminds us of how we wish we looked and had personality components that we wish we had or were attracted to. But the shift in paradigm between males and females is commonly females pick characters that more closely resemble who they are. Now, this is a broad generalization. Right. Yeah. But this is very much held to be true. It is a documented thing. Little girls and middle school girls and young high school girls trying to pick characters that remind them of themselves. And when you have a glut in the video game industry where it's mostly one thing and it's not a more realistic thing, there's not as much they have to speak to them. And I think that's why we've seen such a shift recently, is because there were genuine feminists in the early 2000s. And I mean, they would sprinkle up dissent here and there, mostly mothers watching their kids play stuff. But in the early to mid 2000s, you had a slow growing movement of a burst in women programmers. And there's always been a lot of women programmers, but there was this huge upkick in how many women programmers there were. And you started to see changes. Are you still there?
Yeah, we're all listening. Don't worry.
You started. Sorry, my phone made a noise. I thought I lost you. You started to see changes in some of the female characters in games, and that was because either women wanted a character that their daughter could identify with, or there were situations where they wanted characters that they wanted to play. That was what we were running into, and then you had the fourth wave feminism thing kick in. And you had people like Sarkeesian and that other chick that's with her who weren't, I don't think they approached it from the right direction because, and I've said this before, so I won't linger on it, but I don't feel that it is even remotely correct to remove sexuality from video games or to remove idealized character forms or sexual forms or any of that from video games. I think that has a place there, and I think it's a justified place. But what I think is important is that there is more of the other. You have to balance the scales, and for a very long time they weren't balanced. There was always a majority that was more one than the other. Final Fantasy 15 has a fucking perfect example of that in Cindy. You need to have more strong female characters that their strength isn't their sex appeal, or if it's a character that has sex appeal as a strength, she uses that in an adult way, in a smart, intelligent way. It's a well-written idea, plot device. It's not just there for titillation and to draw views and plays. It's not there to put blood in your dick.
No, Bayonetta's sexualized. I'd say Aloy.
Totally sexualized.
But
Bayonetta
again,
is
it's
so
supposed
No, I'm
to
saying
be.
that's an example of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's important
Oh jeez.
Oh no.
to be there. But I think it's important to bring up the other side, which is what's been happening And you have some folks out there that are trying to stamp out stuff like Lollipop Chainsaw and Bayonetta, and that I disagree with 1000%. You don't have the right to do that.
Yeah.
What you should be doing, if you want to see change, become that change. If you want different video games, go and program new games. I want to see them. As much as I liked the cheesecake Lara Croft, I like her redesign so much better. Like, she's sexy now because she's in good, healthy shape. She's fit. She's not super skinny. She's not super fat. She's kind of, she's ripped. She's cut. She's successful. She's intelligent. And none of it relies off of her sex appeal. She's sexy now because of how capable she is. But before, she was sexy because of her physique. They wanted to see how big they can make her tits.
Them triangle boobs. Could pop a balloon.
They had them smaller, and one of the guys just doubled it and left it there. That's exactly what he did. He's like, I wanted to see if I could double it. I did. I left it there. It's awesome. That was his whole fucking thing. And that's okay too. But I think she's a better, stronger character now. So my position on sexuality in video games is it absolutely fucking belongs there. But depending on the nature of the game, the audience that you're shooting for, the story, and a lot of other factors that go into creating something that makes sense, in the mythology that you built for the game, so on and so forth. I think that just forcing sexuality on a character doesn't make sense. It's one thing if you're playing Duke Nukem, but if you're playing a fucking video game that's about, something that's very different. All right, for instance, Life is Strange, right? If that game had been made like 10, 15, 20 years ago, she would have been a fucking hot, sexy little Asian girl who wore short plaid skirts and then go-go boots and did her investigations that way. The story might have been the same, but you would have been able to tilt the camera down and maybe peek up her skirt. But now
we're looking at you, Nier Automata.
Yeah, but you understand the point. Like, it's a different. We're moving into an area where there's going to be more balance, and I think that's the key. I don't think that it's wrong to have a sexualized character. I don't even think it's wrong to have a sexualized character just for that purpose. But if you have that kind of content, aim it at the right audience. Don't be a fucking morally corrupt asshole and create a game that you're aiming at children and then throw in Lollipop Chainsaw and Bayonetta. I think that's bullshit. Bayonetta was aimed at adults from jump, right? But there's a lot of these games, like Final Fantasy 15 is aimed at teenagers, and you've got Cindy in there. Like, I like the character, don't get me wrong. I'm a heterosexual male, but I still think that she was a stupid addition. Everything else in that world has a certain level of respect for itself and fits in with that world's design. She sticks out. Now, she's confident and she's skilled, and I appreciate that. And she can dress however the fuck she wants. But she sticks out as pure cheesecake, and games that are, even when they have cheesecake factors, are still done with a certain amount of taste.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's when you're taking it in the wrong direction, when you're abusing the sexuality, and I think that's done in poor taste. I'm not complaining about it from my perspective, but the moment my daughter saw that character, she took a look at me and said, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." That's the part that people have a problem with.
You just look down and twiddle your thumbs. You're like, yeah.
Well, and my daughter has a unique take on it too, because there's a good chance. I don't know if she's taken a stand on where she stands with her gender preference, or if she feels she's the correct gender or not. So she's kind of in a unusual position, and she gives me very fresh viewpoints on things. And I share these thoughts and ideas about sexuality in life and in culture and our pop culture with her. I have these conversations with her, and she gives me interesting perspectives, and she feels the same way. She's like, look, they belong. But I'm kind of sick and tired of seeing fucking chicks who are supposed to be, knights wearing like a fucking chainmail bikini. That idea is just, it's done unless you're in a game that is about that. If the game is about something ridiculous like that, then fucking go balls to the wall. But if it's a game like For Honor and you fucking throw a chick in a chainmail bikini, which would have happened 10, 15 years ago, that's fucking retarded and it doesn't belong in the game.
Yeah.
That's not what that game is about. And that I think is why I like where gaming is going right now, because you're seeing that shift where you still have those old things, those titillations and self-aware jokes and things of that nature, but you also have a much more intelligent audience that is getting other forms of content. And I think that's where the sexuality thing is important, because we're getting characters in games that have a healthier respect for sexuality for both men and women.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm done. That's all I gotta say, really. That's everything.
I agree with what you're saying, exactly. And I feel like like what you're saying, where I come from, I feel like the problem that people arise, and I 100% agree with the balance. There has to be a balance presented, obviously. But I do not think that if you have a problem with the game, that you have any right in censoring the creators of that piece of medium, whatever it is. Even when it comes down to shit that was like super offensive, like Postal and stuff, the reason we have an ESRB rating is to give some people a guideline to know that this game has fucked up shit in it, right? This game has fucked up shit in it. This is boobies or whatever, rape, whatever happens in the game. I do not feel like we should have the right to tell someone that makes a game artistically for a purpose that they can't do that. Point the finger and tell them that they can't do that. I believe that it should be monitored so we don't have kids playing games where there's bare titties and rape and stuff like that. But I feel like the person that has sat down to create that game, it's almost as a case of free speech. They should have the right to produce whatever their vision is, no matter how fucked up it is. Now, that doesn't make them a good person. They might be an asshole or someone that's fucked up in the head. And if that's something that either whatever they're doing it for, the reason that they have it, if it's problematic, then they need to seek help for that. But I still don't, like I said, I don't think that we should like tell them like you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that.
So we shouldn't censor like pedophilia or like bestiality.
Now, the thing that it becomes
that's an entirely different context. When you're looking at
like
what
you're saying that you can't, but you're saying that you can't censor certain stuff like sex appeal or whatever or rape. Now let's listen. You said you can't censor that kind of stuff, but how can you pick and choose what you can censor? That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, here, let me see. Like this has been presented before, right? We've seen actually in Japan, this is a real thing that's happened. Now, Japan has a certain collection of their culture that is into lolicon stuff with little girls and shit like that. Now, I do not agree with that in any way, shape, or form, but I believe that we do not have the right to tell the creators of that type of porn or whatever they make that they can't make that.
But don't you think that feeds an addiction?
Now think about it this way. Now this goes back to
wait. It falls upon the subject.
You got a point there.
Wait, listen.
No, you listen. Let me talk now. It's my turn.
Argument. All right.
Okay, so listen. I am not in any way like a feminist or anything. Okay, I believe in.
We're not politically correct.
Yeah,
here.
I'm just saying like I believe in women's rights, but I don't believe in a lot of the stuff that the gaming.
The mic. Thanks, bud.
That the gaming community does. I feel like stuff like sex symbols in games, that feeds a certain addiction. Yes, it's escapism, but that's not something good to escape to. Something that's like what's her name? Cindy in Final Fantasy. Like that's not something good to escape to. That raises expectations. Like I heard about a guy and he wanted to marry like someone who's virtual reality. Like
he did.
He did. Don't you think that having something like that feeds an addiction that you can't stop?
No, I
don't.
But think about it. Like,
think about the
lolicons.
I agree with Shawn.
Think about the lolicons that in Japan. Like, if you can sell stuff like the pillows or whatever, like, what makes you think someone's not going to get to the point where they want something that's real?
Now, listen, real quick. I'm going to say exactly what I have as my rebuttal, and this is something that there's been not a study in this exact topic, but there's been studies on things like this. This can go back to when people started blaming violence on video games, right? Violence in real life in video games. Think about it this way. Now, if you're saying you're feeding an addiction because you're presenting them material to indulge in, correct? This is the same thing that was presented when video games early on with Gamergate, or no, Gamergate was not that. That was women's rights. Gaming.
No, that was something different.
Yeah. With gaming, with the stuff with like school shootings, and what was that one really big school shooting that everyone always refers back to?
Sandy Hook.
Not Sandy Hook, way before that.
Columbine.
No, dude.
Columbine.
No, Columbine.
Yeah, they started blaming games like Doom and stuff on with the violence, and it even goes to GTA 5, right? GTA 5, you can pick up a hooker, kill her, steal her money, drive away in a car. That might be now. What people are saying is that there's also, if you're going to play a devil's advocate, which is what I'm going to do for this topic, is presenting this way. You're giving someone, of course, they have a way of indulging in their desire or whatever they get off on. If it ends up being little girl porn, I don't like saying it that way because I do not agree with that. But I don't feel, I don't feel like we should tell someone that they can't do that. I think that they should seek help if that's what gets them going.
But there's a reason why that kind of stuff is
listen,
illegal, and that kind of stuff is so.
But there's
wrong.
also been extensive studies done on it.
Yeah,
There's been extensive studies done on violence in video games, violence in film, violence in all forms of culture, music, etc.
But violence and what you get off on is very different. Because
no,
in
it's
certain
actually they come from the
situations,
same
you
center
don't
of the
crave
brain.
violence, but you would crave that little girl that's on a pillow.
It depends who you're talking about too, because we're talking about people in general, right? People there's people that can crave violence or can crave. Okay, no, let's go. Okay, let me finish my point. Let me finish my point real quick.
If you crave something, if you have that in you, whether that is present in media or not, that is still going to be there.
Exactly. Just how you can't take guns away from
criminals. If your brain is broken, it's going to be there. But once you start allowing people to outlaw any form of expression and creativity or creating anything, once you start saying this kind of video game is not okay, it's illegal. This kind of behavior is not okay, it's illegal. Where do you draw the line? Because when you open those gates, you cannot shut them.
Like a flood.
Look at North Korea. Look at China right now. China right now has being homosexual in the media and movies, homosexual characters in any kind of media as the same thing as being a child molester or a rapist. It's under the same kind of punishment.
I heard about that.
See, my point is this, all right? We do not have anything permanently conclusive that says that violence or sexuality or anything of that type in the media promotes continued violence. We also don't have anything conclusive that says it doesn't. In susceptible individuals, which is an extreme minority of people, it can encourage problems. But these are problems they already have. These are problems that will already break. This is something that most psychologists agree on because I've been watching fucking tons and tons of shit on this recently because it's been a huge topic. It's a timeless thing. You can't draw that line. Once you start saying this is wrong, then that line gets pushed and pushed and pushed. It's happened before.
Exactly.
What you do instead of saying, oh, you can't make this or you can't watch this, you try and educate the public. You create social groups that raise awareness, that show alternatives. If you want to fight something, you don't fight it by trying to make that form of expression illegal. You fight it by trying to erase the consumer basis, and not by getting rid of them, by educating people, by giving them alternate paths, by giving them healthier ways of thinking. But no, look, I'm a dude, and I'm super attracted to females. Like, it's just how it works. But no matter how many attractive girls I've seen, that's not what I look for in real life. I have a wide variety of what I'm attracted to, and it all comes down to how that person carries themselves. As much as most people say they have a type, it usually runs true. So I don't believe in the majority, and I mean majority is a huge, overwhelming majority of cases, that having a sexy character does any kind of negative promotion. And if you are dumb enough to fall into that, you're going to be very lonely.
Okay, so let's just take your male brain out for a second. And like you said, think about how it affects women. I think we both can agree that the gaming community includes a lot more women than it used to, right?
I think it's something like 48% or something. It's almost.
Are we talking about the players themselves?
Yeah, the players.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so think about a girl who is like a bit fatter, like she doesn't have a perfect body type, and then she gets on and plays like Final Fantasy, and she sees that kind of a character like Cindy, or she sees the girl from Tomb Raider. What's her name?
Lara Croft.
Lara Croft, or the girl from Resident Evil.
The old version.
Yeah, any of these people. Like, my argument is that it's not good for everybody. It might be good for the male fantasy, the male ego, whatever. Like, you can chase after this girl, but if a girl is playing that game, it's completely different from.
That's why you need more choices. That's why she needs
what
to have
what if I want to
just
play
as many
Tomb Raider?
choices as somebody else.
What if I want to play Tomb Raider?
The last two Tomb Raiders that were made have a completely different Lara Croft.
Yeah,
she's built like a she's built like a mountain climber.
Yeah.
Right? I think her breasts are like large B cup or some shit like that. She is not massive. She's fit. She's built to be able to do gymnastics and stunts. Have you ever seen Death Proof?
No.
The Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez thing, Death Proof. There's this stunt woman. She's a blonde chick. She's super famous. She's built like her. She is stacked, and I mean stacked with muscle. She's stacked. She's fit, but she's attractive. But what makes her attractive is no longer her physicality. It's her presence. It's who she is.
I think
so. In response to your question, taking my male brain out, if I take my male brain out, what I believe as a father, and you can take this to the bank, is that we need and are getting more choices, but we do not remove the other elements that are out there, because number one, that does not give you a realistic depiction of anything. If you're going to have a balanced viewpoint on anything, you need to understand that there are idealized forms out there. There are things that nobody can be. I think that's important. You can't have good without evil. And I don't believe that that's evil. I believe that if my child, who is now an adult, who grew up pretty fucking decent, she's 19 now, I'm young dad, but I got busy in high school. I'm going to say, yes, guys, I started early, sue me. My point is this, is that I want her in a world where she can choose to play a Final Fantasy type game or an action type game and be able to find one that has a character that speaks to her. Whether she wants to play somebody who's dressed like a fucking bondage slut, or she wants to play somebody who's more like G.I. Jane. I don't care. If I want her to be able to find something that speaks to her, I want a balanced playing field so that there is something for everybody. If this kid that's 13 wants to play a game with fucking Lollipop Chainsaw, who's like a severely underdressed fucking 18-year-old cheerleader who's running around killing zombies with a chainsaw, I want him to have his game. I want her to have hers. I want you to have yours. But you can't completely neglect a section that appreciates pinup, because sexuality is not bad, and having sexual characters isn't necessarily unhealthy.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying to get rid of it completely, okay? But it shouldn't have
I think
to
you're
be
agreeing
so
with me.
prevalent. I in a way, I am agreeing with you.
When it balances, when we have more, which we're getting more, it's not going to be prevalent. You're going to have choices. You're going to have. That's what I'm saying is we need choices. We need that there is no dominant anything, and it's moving that direction. When you look at video games now, it's harder and harder to find that pinup appeal. It's becoming more and more difficult to find. And believe me, just for kicks, I fucking went looking the other day. I found, I think, like 8 or 12 games that are way the fuck out there, like Galgun and shit like that. And not counting porn games, mind you. Then there's some more moderate ones. But you're running less and less into the direction where the only choices are these sexualized characters, and you have stronger characters. Like, for instance, the current incarnation of Lara Croft. Look her up. Aloy too. Lara's built like a fucking tennis instructor.
Horizon's a good example.
Horizons as well. Now the thing I think it comes back to what Shawn said earlier. With it, we're trying to give the population knowledge too, because when it comes back to, say, a woman that doesn't have what is considered the perfect body while playing a game. Now at that point she's presented an option, right? She can continue to play that game and have it do damage to her physically or emotionally if it is, or she has the choice to stop playing the game, not let it affect her, or continue playing the game and not let it affect her. You're presented 3 options. It comes down to how the person playing the game, like how we've talked. We haven't talked about the podcast, but listen. But we've talked about it before. Your life that you currently live isn't what it is based on what has happened to you in your past. It's what you do in those situations that make your life. It goes the same way with this. If you have a character in a game like this and you let it affect you to the point where it's emotionally degrading.
No. That's not fair, dude.
People aren't strong enough like that.
People don't have a choice in what affects them.
You have a choice to not play the fucking
let
game.
It affect you. That's not... No, yeah, but you can't
why
say
am
you
I
let it
supposed to
affect
drop a game because of a sexualized
Because it's not
symbol?
made for you then. You don't play the game then. So all I'm trying to say is you can't...
No. Hold on. Whoa. Guy, hold on. She's right. That isn't fair.
You can't.
That's
you have to
why
think,
we need more choices.
Yes, you have to think about people's
Shawn,
mental
what she's
health.
saying...
Think about it like this.
Wait. Shawn, the idea that she's saying is that if that character's in the game and I still want to play the game, then that character shouldn't be in the game.
That's not... No.
That's what you said.
No, but you're saying that they should just stop playing it and not let it affect them. You can't choose what doesn't affect you. You can't just be like, I'm not going to... Like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to be like, oh, okay, she's cool and I'm cool. Like, you can't just say that. People can't do that like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I want to play the game and I don't want to be affected by that, then that's a hard decision to make. Like, because you can do that because you're a man, I can't. Some ladies can't do that because it's a lot harder for us to do that. You understand where I'm coming from? You can do that.
Choose what affects you and what doesn't.
Maybe you can do that,
Kyle.
but
I
not
understand,
everyone
but
can.
what is gaming as a whole?
In response to what she's saying, all it takes is a setting in the game to change the fucking skin on the character.
Yeah, but
that's
isn't
something that the moment I saw Cindy, I realized they should have had a setting before the game starts where you can choose what direction it goes. It all comes down to choice. Right now, it's getting better, but it's not where it needs to be. She's absolutely correct, and I agree with her. I don't agree with how she's putting it, but I agree with what she's saying.
Savage.
And this is important, Caitlyn. You cannot draw a line in the sand and say this cannot exist. You can't do that because
that's what you are saying.
That is not what
That's what you're saying.
I'm not. That's why I'm saying how you're phrasing it. Is it unhealthy? Okay. Is it unhealthy? No, I do not believe it's unhealthy. What I believe is when it's like it's been in the past, where that is the overwhelming majority, where the heroes are guys, they're always rescuing the princess, where the girl always has giant tits and is wearing mini skirts. Does that work for me? Yes. But does that work for you? Fuck no. And do I want it to? Yes. I want a video game world where you can pick up the type of game you want to play and be able to play it and get something out of it, not negative. And yes, Kyle, you can't stop something from affecting you. By the time you've seen it or know it's there, you're affected, period. You have no choice on how that affects you. Who you are, your makeup as a person, you can't change that on a dime when you're not prepared for something. So my point is that we have a world now, we have more female game designers that are creating games that are the games they want to play, games Caitlyn wants to play. We need more of that. It's what I've been saying since we started this podcast. It's what I've been saying about video games since I had a little girl. I don't want the sexualization to go away. What I want is a lot more of choice, where if they want to play a Final Fantasy type game or an adventure game or a game where you run around killing shit with chainsaws, maybe that character's dressed in fucking commando gear and a flak vest and has her arms taped up with fucking duct tape so the zombies can't bite through it. Maybe we go that route next time. You know? Yes. I still think a fucking chick who's kicking ass and killing zombies is fucking hot. I think that's hot, personally. I think if she's fucking going balls to the wall and killing shit, that's hot. You know? I don't necessarily want to bone every character. I don't want to bone any character in a video game. I'm not attracted to video game characters, but that doesn't mean I don't like seeing something sexy on the screen once in a while. But I also want more choice. I don't want that to be the only option. And when you, Caitlyn, can go to the store and find something that caters to your taste and doesn't speak negatively toward women, by your opinion and how you feel about it, that's when we're in a better place. And we're getting there, but we're not there yet. So yes, I agree with you. But to say that sexuality or oversexed characters in video games is unhealthy, that's all dependent on who's looking at it. And so you can't take something and remove it because of one opinion or a group of opinions. It's kind of an all or nothing game. And since there is no all or nothing when it comes to this world, instead of erasing something that's out there, like is what Sarkeesian wants to do, instead you create more of what you want. You create the demand for it, and they will give it to you, just like the last two Tomb Raiders, just like Horizon Zero Dawn. But the moment we go into a world where we start wanting to remove something, that is a world that I don't want to be a part of, because that is a scary route to go. I'm not saying that's what you said. That's kind of like where it was going initially when we were conversing, but it's clarified a lot since then. I just think that, and I think this strongly as both a man who wants a woman in my life who can be comfortable with playing video games right next to me, but I also want a world that's comfortable for my daughter to play video games in, which means I don't want, there's a reason why I stopped buying games where the fucking female knights were wearing chainmail bikinis. I haven't bought a game like that in fucking like 10 years. The Final Fantasy is the closest I've come, because I don't want that. If there's going to be a game with that in it, it's got to be the whole fucking game and the whole point of the game. And it's something that the game points fun at. And I still haven't seen any games that do that attract me to them, because I prefer a more balanced game. That's just how I like to view things. Okay, but I don't believe you can sit there and try and erase something, because then you're trying to sit there and decide what other people can watch and what other people can enjoy. And nobody has the right to do that. Instead, create something that the people that want to enjoy something that isn't that have the ability to get to.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that argument doesn't work for everything. Like, okay,
no argument does.
Exactly. So
yours doesn't work for everything either.
Of course. No. I don't talk for everybody. There are a lot of different people in this world. But I'm saying that, like, there's a reason why children porn is illegal, and having sex with a dog is illegal, and making love to a corpse is illegal. Like,
how did we get to this?
Because I'm saying, like...
Do you want to know why? I can tell you why they're illegal.
Go ahead, yeah, sure.
The reason that they're illegal, the whole reason that it got put in the Bible in the first place is that having sex with animals spread disease. Having sex with corpses spread disease. Doing those things spread disease. So they wrote laws in almost every known religion back when those religions were forming. And believe me, I'm not saying that Christianity isn't founded in truth. That's not it at all. But these things were incorporated along into religions as these religions were being formed, not just because they were sinful, but because if that shit kept going, because they were fucking donkeys and it was killing people. This is a fact. That's where thousands of years ago, why this shit became outlawed, is because there's communicable diseases that you catch from beasts and from corpses and shit that kills people, and it spreads that disease. That's why those things became illegal back then. These days, the reason why we find them illegal is because it's morally and ethically and fucking disgusting. But the reason why they were originally outlawed wasn't because people didn't like them. Society didn't like it, but the reason why they put such a hard stop on it was because it was spreading disease. It was killing hundreds and thousands of people. They didn't have medicine back then. You know, you drank water from a magic plant and felt better, or you didn't. I mean, fucking Japan, you still go to fucking magic baths. They're supposed to cure illness, and all they are is hot water. You know, that kind of shit still exists.
To clarify earlier because we never even talked about it after it was brought up, with the whole incident with the Japanese thing and the I'm just gonna call it the lolicon stuff, is the idea was, now I'm gonna present this real quick. We're gonna talk about
wait. She wasn't finished talking when I put it in. She was about to say something, and I just wanted to make a point.
He got me.
Oh, okay. No, she didn't have anything to say. So just to clarify real quick, again, I don't support this. I'm just giving an equal footing stand on both sides. I don't give a shit what you guys think about it out there. This is the idea that they were going with when they discussed this. Now, Japan ultimately ruled that under their rules that they had set for for the Constitution that it was allowed. Now, the reasoning behind
because
it,
it's not human.
they're not actual characters, right? And that goes
They're
back.
not harming people.
It is considered a victimless crime because there is no child being hurt in the process of making the content. Now, wherever you stand on that, if you feel it's indulging a person that would do that, again, we have no research that has stated that has full proof saying that if someone indulges in a form of media that is something that they get off on, that leads to them pursuing that in the real world. And I'd provide a counter argument to that when it comes to violence as well. If they're given a way to indulge in it, don't you think they won't go out and search for other ways if they normally didn't have an avenue to indulge in it?
No.
Why not?
No, actually, psychologists are split down the middle on that one, man.
Again,
But you're talking about something that's not real
60%.
and then going to something that is real.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't you think that's a
you've
jump
seen
in
the Lolly Love
experience?
Dolls? Have you guys heard about that?
What happened?
There's a company that makes realistic sex dolls that are children.
Yeah, I heard about
One
that.
company, it's in Japan, and it's fucking
Japan.
disgusting.
Why you gotta do
All
this
right?
to us?
Well, yeah.
Japan?
Look, the guy says that he makes it for pedophilia clients so that there's a way that they can get out their urges. Now, you can say all that you want to, that rapists and fucking pedophiles and serial killers, it's not their fault. They're victims of their brain. I don't care. You're a
It's
trash
messed up.
person.
It's
When you act, the moment you act, first of all, you're a trash person, even if you have those fucking feelings. You are a trash person. If you're listening, you're a fucking trash person.
Wait.
Hold on.
Wait. You stop yelling at everybody telling their trash. Now, if you have these urges, I don't know who's listening. If you have these urges, that although the urges are trashy, you have the option to seek help and not act on them. That doesn't automatically make you a trash person. It depends what you do. Again, it
You
depends.
don't interrupt me in the middle of a strong statement like that when I'm fucking and then fucking stop. Look.
Bitch, be
This is my
quiet.
personal
I'm
viewpoint.
talking.
That's
This
like
is not
saying
yours.
that someone who's gay,
that's
that
not
they can
anyone
control
else's.
it.
That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is
That's
that
not what I'm talking about at all.
being
I'm
gay.
sorry, if
No,
you
we're not
have
talking. Shawn.
something
Listen,
sick.
wait. This sounds like
God damn
fucking
it.
trash when people listen back to this. Calm down. You both have been talking for the past half hour. Just be quiet for a second. Shit.
So have you.
Thank you.
I read the news. Bitch, you two just argued for the past discussion for the past
Just say
40
what you're
minutes.
going to say. Say what you're gonna say.
All I'm
you can
saying.
Stop it out if you want. But if you have those urges, there's something
I'm
fucked
not
up and
chopping
wrong
out.
with you, and you absolutely
That's
should
what I'm
seek
saying.
help. If you are not,
That's what I'm saying. That's why
you
you're
didn't let
yelling
me
at me.
finish. You didn't let me finish.
Then let me finish what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If you have those, okay. All right. This is,
I'm sorry, dude. I couldn't help it. Go ahead.
I'm about to remove Shawn from my friends list on Discord, bitch.
Stop.
All I'm saying, because again, like I said, it's already happened multiple times throughout this. I've tried to say something and I've been shut down both times.
You did that to me. You both did that to me.
You
We do
were
it to each
talking
other.
for the last
We do
40
it to each
fucking
other.
minutes. That's all I'm saying. Listen.
Tell me I was sitting
how
here
often have they
trying
been
to
talking
talk.
the last discussion?
Tell me
though?
I've been sitting here trying to talk.
But think of the
when they were
potency.
talking.
Think of the potency of the discussion, right? They were both going back and forth. I was trying to get a point in. Even if it was cutting her off, I was just trying to get a point in. But I was cut off multiple times. I was.
I don't like taking sides, and that's why I've been quiet
All I'm
this
saying-
entire
Wait, I
time
want to hear Antony's honest opinion.
on this whole argument or discussion.
I'm gonna prevent mine because I don't want to see, like, I'm playing devil advocate personally, this whole situation. But I agree 100% with Shawn that we need a middle ground. I don't think it should be taken out. I don't think it should be removed. I think there needs to be more of the opposite. I 100% agree with Shawn in that statement. That is exactly where I think it should go. I agree with that. But I think in no means should you tell someone, you can't enjoy this, you can't fucking do that, you can't make that because fuck you, because there's boobies in it or there's killing in it or whatever. You should not be allowed to tell someone that, because that encroaches upon free speech. That encroaches upon their ability to make something artistic in their eyes. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I think if you want to fix the problem, like Shawn has provided, you provide more of the opposite and you level it out, because there will always be fucked up shit in every market because there's fucked up people in the world. That's not something that's going to go away. You can't eradicate evil. It always
mean
exists.
You should just ignore it, though.
We're not ignoring it. We're actively changing
By
it.
You're
creating
saying-
the opposite, you're not
You're
ignoring
actively
it. By
changing
creating
it.
the opposite, you're fighting against it.
That's
You're
what we're
actively
saying.
changing the environment it exists in.
That's what I'm saying. But you can't tell someone you can't do that. That's not right. You can't. You make
We're not
more of the
we
opposite.
didn't change racism by making racism illegal. We changed racism by educating our children.
Exactly.
By teaching them that that's not the right. Racism is a taught thing. When we stopped teaching our kids to be racist, when we started telling them it doesn't matter what level of tan you have or how much melanin you have in your skin, we're all the same, we're all equal.
But there were laws.
When you start telling your children that changes how they think about things.
Brown versus Board of Education.
That wasn't a law. That was a
that made a law. That made a law that
doesn't make racism illegal. Racism is still legal.
There were laws that were put in place.
Is racism still prevalent though?
Well, of course.
Because it's not illegal. The racism is not illegal today. Because you can't make
I'm saying that it used to be completely legal to have white people in a classroom and black people in a different classroom, and so they made a law that made that illegal. That's what that was.
That is segregation.
That's not racism. We're talking about something completely different.
No, but that's
a symptom of racism, but that's not racism.
Because they think that the white class is better than the brown class. That's what I'm like. There were things put in place that helped racism die out, like it has now. It's still there, but it's not nearly as prevalent as it used to be. And that was because laws were put in place to do that.
It's still super prevalent, but the reason that it died out wasn't because they allowed people to go together to class. The reason that it is what it is today is because people like Martin Luther King
educated
and individuals of his ilk decided to change the way people looked at things. Instead of having violent clashes with the law, he insisted on peaceful protests to the point where they were arrested numerous times and beaten, and none of them fought back. Because they were determined to show we are civilized. They were educating the people around them. That's how you change the world. You need to become the change you wish to see. That's what Gandhi said, for fuck's sake. So if you want a different world, you need to create that world, which is what we are doing. We are creating more media that shows more varied types of characters. That is how you remove those other things from your equation, but you have no right to stamp them out. Because once you start doing that, somebody starts stamping out something that you like, because it all comes down to what you're comfortable with, and everybody's comfortable with different things.
No one's the same
person. So you cannot create a world that is homogenized. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
As much as I would like to see lolly stamped out and lolly sex dolls stamped out and all that other shit, because like what I was trying to say earlier, and you can omit it all you want to. I don't, or however you like.
Not politically correct.
If you are somebody who has these awful urges
that you act upon,
I don't. Yeah, I first of all, that disgusts me. Period.
Yes.
All right. That just disgusts me.
You
can come at me all you want to, or think of me as ignorant. You become a complete dead person to me. Like, you could be murdered tomorrow and I wouldn't care if you ever fucking acted on it. And the problem with the lolicon and with the sex dolls that people are very concerned about is that there are there are about 60% of psychologists believe that if you engage in something heavily that is broken in your mind, for instance, if you're attracted to younger girls and you have sex with a younger girl, they believe that that's going to make you hungrier for the real thing. And about 40% think that helps you curb those urges. Now, coming from somebody who was a smoker, all right, having gum that tastes like cigarettes and gives me nicotine did not make me want to stop smoking. It made me want to go smoke a cigarette. If you have an addictive personality, if there is something that you cannot control your urges over and you're barely on the fucking limit, and somebody gives you something, like fucking the diabetics giving sugar-free candy, they've got the willpower to fucking, it's just gonna lead them right back to fucking candy. That's why they don't eat sugar-free candy. They don't eat any candy.
I understand where you're coming from. Again, devil's advocate.
I wish I could get rid of these things, but I know that if I started saying you have no right to make that somebody is going to tell me I have no right to like something else.
Exactly.
That is why, even if I agree with you, Caitlyn, on where you feel, on how you feel about these things, I don't agree that we should remove the sexuality or sexualized characters from video gaming, because then we open a box that we simply cannot shut. But the way that we can make that universe that you want, that world that you want, is by producing that content. That's one of the reasons why I want to go into game design, is because I can produce content for whatever audience I choose. And I want to make games that you would like to play and my daughter would like to play without feeling like it's objectifying you or saying something negative about the female. I don't have a problem with people being objectified if it's done in the right way. And do I have a way to say the right way? No. But I think that pinup, for instance, was a tasteful way of objectifying. When you have the dudes on the fucking romance novel covers with their ripped with their hair blowing in the wind, or the girl on the side of the fucking plane, I don't have a problem with that. I think that's healthy. I think expressing your interest in sexuality is not a bad thing. I think when it becomes the focus of your existence, there's a problem. But that is that's the minority, not the majority.
Well, he's saying is you're going about it incorrectly. He's saying that...
No, it was just how you phrased a few things. That's what I'm trying to say. I agree with you, but I don't think that it is unhealthy to have that out there. I think it's unhealthy to have too much of it out there.
Yeah. We're trying to find a medium.
I think it's unhealthy to not have an alternative.
Yeah,
wasn't an alternative.
Can you speak?
We're trying to find a medium that won't completely fuck over one side. That's what we're trying to do, because it's the problem with this topic that we did not think about going into it is that it's very gray. There's no one there's not a set in stone way you could fix this problem, because people are so different. The way people experience things and choose to experience art. Because with art, there's two ways it experience. It's the relationship that the person has that created the art to the art, and the person consuming the art, their connection to it. You could make something.
I told you that like a week ago.
Yeah, that's exactly what Shawn said. The words of a wise man. Exactly what you said. You said the thing. You could make something about how much you love crack, and someone can appraise it as they need to find Jesus. Exactly what you said. Mm-hmm. The problem is someone that listens to the same crack song can think that they need to start an apple farm somewhere. It all depends on how the person in their time in their life, how they find that whatever that piece of art is and how they interpret it is how this happens. That's what we're trying to avoid, the stamping out, because it can do that to other people. And like he said, the moment it starts, it might not fucking stop. And we're trying to avoid that. We don't want to see
decisions for other people.
Yeah, it could get to the point where it's like, well, killing people's bad. Maybe we should stop showing that in video games. And then 80% of our games fall off the face of the earth because they've removed killing from games.
The only way to fix it is to have more healthy content, to have more Horizon Zero Dawn.
Exactly what Shawn was saying.
Not only that, but you have games now that are switching, and I mean not in a misandry way, not in a man-hating way, but they're flipping the script and they're taking the female and giving her the male role, and taking the male and giving him the female role. I'm making a joke out of it. That's how that relationship works in that game. You have a lot of what shouldn't be refreshing stuff, but is refreshing simply because nobody's bothered to fucking do it before. And the whole fucking reason this happened to you in the first place, Caitlyn, was when they made the Nintendo, because the video game market crashed. So Nintendo came up with a genius idea. We're going to make video games. But when they made video games, they didn't make them as video games. They made it as a toy, right? And back then, toy stores were blue and pink, right? And they couldn't stick it in both fucking sides of the store. So they decided to stick it in the boys' side. So from that point forward, since it was on the boys' side of this fucking toy aisle, it got boy marketing. And all of a sudden, you've got titties and bikinis. You know, you've got... it's the truth, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, I agree
and you
with
take characters, even characters that you think are strong female characters. Like when I was a kid, I used to think Samus Aran was this amazingly strong female character.
So cool.
And she is. But here's what they did to her that was fucked up. And they didn't think about it then because, again, they were just marketing to boys. They didn't think that girls were playing it because it's not on the girl side, which is a fucking limit on their part. But you finish the game, and if you finish it with a good time, like a normal time, like a long time, and she shows up at the end with her suit on.
Yeah.
If you finish it with a good time, the helmet's off and you see her hair flowing in the wind. Fuck, I didn't know it was a girl, because I had no fucking idea when I played that game. I was like, she's badass. But then I played it again, and she shows up in a fucking bikini. Now, the artist who did that didn't originally intend for it to be that way. He meant it to be like a skin suit so she could fit inside the thing. But the way people perceived it was a little bit of pinup for guys after they finished the game. You know, like, here's a little bit of snatch for you. And that continued into some of the future games. No, that has since changed. But it's little things like that as we tweak it, and now she's a strong character, and she does not show up in a bikini anymore. She wears a skin suit, but it's an actual fucking skin suit.
Yeah.
It's a blue skin suit that she wears when she gets inside the armor. Like, it's little bits and pieces here and there. You know, Peach, when was the last time Mario had to rescue Peach?
Every fucking flagship title.
Yeah.
There's what was it? There was been a what was it? There was like 2 recent Mario games where you played Peach on the Wii U.
They had Mario games where you played as Peach. Like, they had one where you were Peach saving Mario. That was on the Game Boy.
Okay, that's not a good example. But the point is like, you're running into areas now where you're not rescuing princesses anymore, or you're a princess rescuing.
Well, Nintendo just does it because it's an easy way to create their game and have a design. Now, real quick, because we're running low on time, I'm gonna have Antony, because for all you guys who forgot, Antony's here, so he's gonna just present his ideas real quick, because I have to like leave for work in like 15 fucking minutes. So Antony's gonna present.
It's not gonna take that long.
I'm just gonna present his ideas real quick on what we've been discussing, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up the show. It was a very heated discussion. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I want you guys to leave what you guys think, put in the comments. We want to hear from you guys. If you want to hit us up on Discord, give us an idea of what you thought of this episode, put it somewhere. Let us hear your voice.
We love opinions.
Yeah, we want to hear exactly what you guys think. If you think I'm an asshole for taking devil's advocate or whatever I presented, if you think Shawn's right, if you think Caitlyn's an asshole, let us know.
If you thought I was being quiet,
I was kind of an asshole earlier when I said they're a trash person. I only think you're a trash person if you don't get help.
If you act upon that, that's what I was trying to say earlier. Which I was stopped from talking.
You got that sickness. If you got that sickness, you need to recognize it and go and get help. If you don't take responsibility for yourself, if you have the impulse to kill and you can't resist it and it's growing, if you have the impulse to rape, if you have the impulse to fuck children and it's getting stronger and stronger, be responsible. Recognize you've got a problem. Go and get help. If you don't, you're a trash person. And if you act on it, you should be dead. Okay. And
some people are afraid to get help because once they get help, they get put out there and ostracized from society.
He's got a point.
And
no, they don't. If you get help, that's confidential. No, if you go out to the news, you get ostracized. But if you go to a therapist, a psychologist, that is confidential. Nobody knows that you have that problem. There are thousands of pedophiles out there right now who have not acted on it, who are getting help, and nobody fucking knows. This is the absolute fucking truth. Because they knew they had a problem, and they go to therapy once a week for it.
All right.
Or more.
So get help if you have the issue. If you feel the need, seek out therapy. Now, that's our wrap up on that topic. We're going to stop talking about that. Antony, provide your opinion.
I never want to talk about it again. I'm done.
Yeah. I'm always afraid to talk just to sound like ignorant or dumb or like stupid.
It's your opinion. Present
Antony,
your opinion.
you are genius in the best of places. Don't even fucking say that bullshit.
Just present your
You
opinion.
are awesome.
My opinion on this is life is a ride and I'm just going to enjoy it.
There you go. That's Antony's opinion.
I'm just excited for any change. I think change is good. Like I said, I don't really have a standpoint on it, and if you think that's good or bad, it's up to you, but I don't like having a standpoint on a lot of things just because it brings up a lot of conflict.
Yeah,
I don't really like conflict. I'm a peaceful guy. I try to solve everything like peacefully. So if you want to think that like me not having an opinion is bad, then so be it. But like I said, I kind of take everyone's side on this because I'm also a really easily convinced guy. You can convince me of almost anything. So I see, if you talk to me long enough, I'll probably start to see your side.
Talk in the microphone.
He's
on this.
We can hear you just fine, man.
It's recording in front of him.
Yeah, but I'm pretty easily convinced. So I try to not like provide a point because usually my point of view changes.
So from what you've heard
It doesn't
today,
make it any less valid.
from what you've heard
Yeah,
today,
that's true.
With this issue that has been presented, from what you've heard today amongst us, what do you think would be a good way of going about this? Not that you're not
Choices.
taking sides. So choices. You
Yeah,
think,
no,
you
I
think-
like choices.
Okay, so that's what we're trying to figure out. Your opinion from what we've talked about and presented tonight in this table of our discussion. What you think would be the best way for going about moving forward?
Change or like choices.
Choices.
Definitely choices. I like choices for myself
Yeah.
because that's just me.
Yeah. Auntie's our comedic relief, guys. No,
Yeah,
I'm just
exactly.
I'm just fucking around.
No, it's true. I like being that because then it doesn't put a heavy role on me.
There you go. Hey, the finger snap. He gave me two guns. So, yeah, we're just trying to get everyone's opinion across because we want, again, you guys out there, let us know how you feel about this topic. This was probably one of the most heated episodes we've had.
Shout out to all the girls, because I was the only girl representing all the girls. So
No, we
You
represent.
did
Shout out
an
to all the
awesome
girls
job,
listening.
Caitlyn.
Thanks, Shawn.
I don't
love
think
you,
we.
Shawn.
I think in our solution.
You're my boo.
You're my boo, Shawn.
I don't think in our solution we
Yeah,
weren't
you're
representing
right.
both sides. I think Shawn's idea is the best way to go about appeasing everyone without fucking over one side. That's what I think. I don't think we weren't I don't think we weren't. It's not like we were completely leaving girls out of the formula when we were making. When Shawn presented that idea, I feel like it perfectly included both sides. So I don't think we left girls behind. In
I don't
that.
really care about appeasing people. I care about representing people. That's the part that I care about.
I just meant that I'm talking to 3 guys and I'm just one girl. So
Okay.
That's what I was talking about.
No, we got you. No, you did good. You did awesome. You held your own. Like,
most she's ever
fiercely.
fucking talked.
You were a fierce. You were a fierce boo.
I'm heated about this. Kind of thing.
I'm trying to work and get everyone to
the
talk
thing
more.
is you aren't incorrect. You know, you're not.
Right.
She's going about it the wrong way.
Because I've had friends that have.
No,
struggled with
it's
this.
not going about it the wrong way either. That's
I
not
think
what I
so.
meant to say
Okay,
earlier.
well that's your
It
opinion
was
and I
just-
got mine. All right, so.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
It was just
Yay, opinions!
how, it was just how it was
America.
phrased at first. It seemed you clarified it, so
I
that's
said
not
we
a,
weren't. Okay,
that's a non-issue.
Sean, if you're gonna say anything, you got 1 minute because we're really running long here.
I think I've said everything I needed to say. You all did a great job. I don't think it was heated personally. And Anthony, listen to me.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck if you change your opinion every 5 seconds because my favorite song changes every time somebody asks me that question.
True.
So if you have an opinion on something, do not hesitate to fucking stir up the pot because the rest of us, we're all about that shit. And it's not conflict.
It
I
makes for
hate
good
conflict.
radio. It
I
makes for good
hate
Yeah,
radio.
exactly.
On a deep-seated area. I cannot stand conflict. What just happened wasn't conflict. It was a debate and a
It was
discussion.
debate.
Yeah, I can't wait
And
to listen
that's
to this.
awesome.
I can't
Yeah,
wait to
same.
Listen to this over again.
That's what I'm saying. This is
And by
what
the way,
makes.
Kyle, to correct you, I knew that this was going to be a gray area when I chose this topic. That's why I picked it. So you may not have known what we were getting into, but I knew exactly what I was getting into.
Okay.
I saw it coming when
you saw
Kyle presented the topic. I'm like, oh no,
He's like, fuck.
that's exactly what I thought.
Okay. So
But yeah, people need to not be afraid to have these discussions, and they need to be willing to listen to other people. And yes, we cut each other off a shitload. I'm a big offender. I apologize to Caitlyn, and I apologize to Kyle and to you, Antony, because I did it to you a few times. But that aside, like, it's important to have these discussions with your friends, with your family, with the people out there. And I mean a discussion where you're not hating on someone's beliefs. You're listening to it and responding as a listener, and then sharing how you feel about it. And coming to an area where even if you don't agree with somebody, at the very least, understand where they're coming from, because that's why our environment is changing. That's how it changes, is by listening and understanding, and then maybe making a concession here and there, and growing to a point where every gamer can find a game that speaks to them, a comic book character that speaks to them, whatever, you know?
yeah. All right. So
Kisses, know your pink parts.
yep, that was episode 11, right? Episode 11. Episode 11, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Fuck if I know.
And thank you all for joining us. Again, we do have our Discord that will be in the description. If you want to listen to us on podcasting services, if you are on YouTube, we have our home base is YouTube, and we have podcast services, both iTunes and Google Play. So thank you all for tuning in. This was the Thought Patrol podcast. I was joined by Caitlyn.
Hey.
Antony.
Hey, I'm back.
Shawn, as
Yeah.
always, over Discord. And we love talking to you guys. So you have a wonderful week.